Alright, I am back. For those of you who, I mean, I lost everybody, obviously. Um, Living out in the country, I live in a city, air quote city. I live in an area that has like less than 2,500 people in Florida. So Florida isn't all like Disney World and Miami and Tampa and that. There are like small little country towns out here, and I live in one of them, and it's glorious. But living out here in the sticks, we do lose power every once in a while. Even though I am blessed to have FPNL, because not everybody has FPL or FPNL. I'm used to calling it FPNL. But like we do lose it occasionally, and that was an unfortunate time to lose it. But anyways, I am back, and then we will try and double wall that wall, and then we will have most of our rooms together, and in all honesty we'll have most of our structure together. So even though it seems like I've been doing like mostly chatting, which I have, most of the structure is already there for me, right? That's the beauty of building in a spot like this, because I won't have to do much. It's gonna be mostly decor budget. Oh,
Someone there?
yes, somebody is there. There we go. All right. Again, sorry about that. Thanks for joining back. For anybody who does. All right. So now we're gonna try and double wall this wall. One, two, and that's about where I want it. So we're going to try and put a wall in there. Walls. Perfect. And again, the reason why I do it that way is so that way I can bring it back. Ah, there we go. Now everything's like all over the place and it's hard to find it. Boo. Cool. So now I was able to get the double wall in there, and I can remove that and that. Oh, the bridge I'm building under this time, good catch. That is over here near Summersville. My Helvetia one is just north of here. And so yeah, that's the one. I want to see. No, this is the character that has that on it. I did a build under here recently. It's actually, I mean, I wasn't going to show it anyway because it is technically my 200th build, but I did a build over here under the road, and it's a clean build. Just kind of a sneak idea of what my 200th will be. Nobody I've ever seen has done a clean build there, so I thought I would be like the cool kid to do a clean build in a place that's hard to do that. But anyways, yeah. So I'm doing it under this bridge. It's a nice little area over here. You got a lot of greenery and stuff. I mean, you do have the mobs right here, which kind of bother you. But once it's built under here, unless you have like generators over there, like or something where they would shoot at, they're really not going to bother you a whole heck of a lot. If anything, they'll kind of keep people away from you, which is fine. But anyhow, yeah. So this will be where the bathroom lives. There's going to be just enough space to walk through here, which is fine. So I'll have my sink on one side, toilet on another side, and that'll be that. I think this one will not have a shower, but that's okay because we have all of this beautiful water, right? And you could just do that. All right. So, and now we'll be able to get our double wall in. So all I need to do is break this thing down. I should be able to get a wall in there, no problem. Yep, just like so. And that means I can get rid of this wall and go back to my walls. I gotta find that wall again because I had everything kind of saved, and then when my power went out, it all kind of just went away where everything was at. So if you notice, like that wall is not going in, right? But then I go up to this one and it goes in just fine. That is because some walls have a different thickness than others. So then all I need to do, if I'm having struggles with that, is just go and change it to Like say, we'll do. I can change it to whichever wall I want, but I'm really the goal is to get it to the Blue Ridge set so that I can turn it into a half wall, right? Cool. And then I can go add my other wall potentially. There we go. And kind of do the same thing. So now I'm going to have a double wall here where I would not have had one prior. It took a little bit of fighting to get this in, but again, this is like what you're looking at here is virtually the entirety of like the main part of the structure. Like it will be done, and like I've used almost no budget for this. So oftentimes I'll get questions like, how do you have so much budget left to decorate for? Thank you for coming back, Lotus. Sorry about the technical difficulties. You can't help it sometimes. Oh. Oh, did I do that? I did do that. I put that on the wrong one. There we go. Now it's on the right one, right? Right? Is it? Hopefully? No, it's not. Still. It is not liking going over to this wall over here. There we go. I got it that time. These casino walls, now, I don't think you can get them anymore. They were really great. A very close second are these pink orchid. Thank you. Awesome. These Fort Fortress walls are almost as thin as those red casino walls, but man, when you need a wall in and it's like really tight, those red casino walls are super thin. And the reason why, just so you know, if you're blessed enough to have them, they're one of the few walls that doesn't have that stupid overhang on the side of it. See the difference? So you got that extra thinness there. Now with the Fort Fortress ones, they have it, but for some reason there's not as much collision with theirs. I don't know why, but I'm able to get the Fort Fortress in places sometimes I can't even get the red casino walls in. But anyhow, well, I told you it was going to be like 2 hours for at least. Well, I said in the header, like the hope was to do this in 2 hours. The structure is virtually done, if you can believe it. Like I was just saying, so it won't like then it's going to be down to like figuring out the rooms and decorating, which is not my favorite part, believe it or not. I am actually not. I think I do a good job at decorating, but it's by force. It's not my passion. My passion is fitting things into structures like this and trying to make them work. Yeah, so I can basically repair that stuff right here. And yeah, this is going to be basically my structure. I'm going to put walls there. The only other thing that I need to do from this point is I'm going to need to, I want to put walls here. See that water? I want to hide that. And I should have or could have done that first. I didn't have to. Exactly. I'm more of the engineer. I'm not a very good Susie homemaker. So, like, good segue into that. Like, because I've been building so long, my wife placates the ever living crap out of me. And she's like, "Oh, hey, honey, you build. Why don't you? What do you think about me doing this or this?" Like when we talk about like because she kind of controls most of the house decor. And I'm like, "Oh, well, I would do it like differently like this." But then she'll be like, then she'll restate her case like as if she craves the buy-in, right? And whereas and I'm like, okay, well then just do it however you want, baby. It's gonna look great no matter what, right? Because I'm well trained. Um, but no, I don't honestly. She's better off doing the decorating because my ideas sometimes are outlandish. And versus Fallout where everything looks good because we all have like a limited amount of things that we can do, even with the decorations we have. Okay, so let's go over to walls. I'm just gonna plug and play a couple of walls, into place. Let's do, I'm just going to throw whatever I can up. Oh, look at that. I was able to get those half walls in, no problem. Which then tells me if I can do that, I can save my budget a little bit and I can put a full wall there. Let's do that instead. Sweet. So there's going to be a problem, right? Because this build is not 2 walls wide. It's only 1 wall and 3/4 wide, right? So so what I'll probably need to do, let's do this instead. So I'm going to go back to the half wall thing, and I'm going to try and catwalk off of that. Oh, I see. I gotta break these guys again. I thought it'd be cool, kid, and not have to worry about having them like, oh, I'm all done, mic drop, right? That's usually never the case. I end up breaking the walls a lot. Alright. Ah, did I just do that? God bless it. That's alright. Just put it back. Do it again. Okay, and since I'm here, I might as well just turn that into a corroded wall so that way I don't worry about that again. So why am I catwalking off of that half wall, right? Because I'm gonna have to break this wall in order to fit another wall into place, and I want a little bit of wiggle room. So I know with these corroded walls, I can just like work some like awesome magic. So boom, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn that into the corroded wall. And maybe I will just leave them as half walls so I don't have to mess with it. It's not like I'm going to have like a lack of budget here. This whole build's going to take maybe a total of 20 walls and some foundations. So it's not like it's going to be end of days. Okay. So it may not look like it, but I just counted out the catwalks and the length and size that they needed to be in order to execute this correctly. Now it's just going to be a question if it'll let me get that wall or that last catwalk in. I saw it try and snap. Let's bring it a little closer. There we go. It did not want to play nice in the sandbox. I do not want it to snap to the top one though. It'll be a lot harder to get the wall in otherwise. So I would really like it to snap to the bottom one. Let's see if I can find a wall that's going to play a little nicer. Oh, it's definitely not going to be that one. Let's do this. Might be that thing. Yeah, that was what's getting in the way. Alright, so in this case, I could use the corroded wall, but I'm just going to use whatever wall because it doesn't matter anymore. Because I've done what I came to do. Alright. So now I'll have walls on that side. And that side's the hardest side to get the walls on because I already have walls in place. There we go. And then from here, what I will do is I'll just slap. I'm going to go ahead and find it now so I don't have to screw around with it later. Too far. One of these sweet, sweet days, Bethesda will reorganize or allow us to reorganize the our build menu, so that way we don't have to hunt for things like we have in the past. Finding a wall when you have as many as like I do, it is a chore. Cool. So this entire side of the camp is completely walled in. And I got all my double walls. I think I got them all where I wanted them to, right? And then I have a room here. I know it's hard to like envision it, but this will be my bedroom right here. This area right here, this thin area is going to be a very small like a water closet. And then I will have like living space and whatnot here, my front door will be here. So now that I have all that in place, the last thing I want to do is I want to get my last set of walls into place. Oh, and of course, it's causing some problems for me to get that wall into place, right? And again, it'll just probably be like a log out, log in issue. Oh, I told you I die a lot. Yeah, so they do in theory have something like that in the works. They've had a lot of things in the works for a long time. I don't count on it until they literally are like plan it out and have a date set, and like actually have roll like a plan to roll it out, not just like talking about it, because they've talked about doing so much. And I'm not saying that they don't deliver on their promises. To be fair, they have done a pretty good job of delivering, but I want to see it before I believe it. So I can't get my foundation where I want it to be. So another trick, rather than logging out, would be to move your camp and then potentially move it back, and that will sometimes fix the problem. Then I just impatiently spam this until I get what I want. I'm like, give me my camp back. Give it. I want it back. Mommy, mommy. There we go. Alright, now let's see if I can move this foundation. Oh, bugger. So I'll probably have to swap servers again to get my foundation in place. So I'm going to do that real quick. And I'll go back to adventure this time. I was on private. It was nice while it lasted. Once I get these last walls in, though, like really, it's going to be just setting up where I want everything to be at. So it'll actually come together fairly quickly. I also have an idea. I might throw a front porch on the front side, like using the like covered porches set. Oh, oh God. Kill these little bastards real quick. And there's usually 4. I guess not right now. I'm sure he'll find me. The whole world is purple. Yeah, see, so logging out of the server sometimes is beneficial. Okay. That's a great question. It sure felt that way for a minute, right? Alright. So I'm going to look for that corroded concrete wall. Yeah, I know. It's not a perfect game. Honestly, I don't know if there is one. You know, that's a case that I make too with others, that they're like, oh, you know, this game is so broken, but then like they'll say how much they love like Skyrim, right? Like, oh, Skyrim, goat RPG of all time, right? But then like they fail to remember how absolutely broken some of the mechanics in that game was. That's, you know, why Spliffing Brit is able to make a living, is off of, you know, a lot of Bethesda games being broken. But you know, that doesn't mean we don't love them. And at least they're not so like overly. I mean, I should say, Other than ESO, that's why that they're not so overly monetized versus like an Ubisoft game or what have you. But definitely not the tangent I want to get on for this video. Okay, so what I need to do is I'm going to turn this here. That way I can find that wall, and then that wall can turn into this wall. Then I can break these two walls if I can hit them. Oh, I heard footsteps. Nope, just my imagination. Okay. And I'm breaking these walls out so I can get yet another set of walls into position. And the easiest way for me to do this, if it would let me, but it's not going to because the game is really like not playing nice in the sandbox today, would be to come off of there with another foundation. But I'm going to try not to have to log back out and log back in order to make that happen. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to break this wall up here. I'm going to catwalk on that side, which is going to allow me to catwalk on this side. And then I can get my wall in, like so. And sweet. And now I can just do that, change the angle of that, and then go down and find my blue ridge. And now I have walls on every side except for the front, which is by design. So in the front now, all I need to do is, first things first, I'm going to, oh, this game today is just going to be the death of me. It's not letting me put the foundation there again. So that's okay, because I can make it work without having to swap servers for like the 4th or 5th time today. First things first, let's put our doorway up. Oh, perfection. And then over here, I don't know, I could do a doorway, I could do, or not a doorway, I could do a full wall, I could do a half wall. I might do a half wall because I have more options there. Yeah, it's going to cost me double the budget, but that's okay. I have so much to play with here that it's not even funny. So, in order to make this work, just do that. And then that. And that way I can bring the wall in double wall. Like so. I'm going to use a wall that's not as expensive as those. These walls are like super expensive for concrete. So I will use something else. So to Alex's point, he made the case that you can use this wall, and he's right. You can use the army base walls too and get the same effects. So we'll destroy those guys. Oh, stop it. There you go. Cool. And then I can just change those out to whatever my heart desires. For now, I might do this again. I don't know. But for now, we'll just do that as like a placeholder, and we can always go back and change it, right? And that. one more time. And then it's just going around. Actually, I'm not just going to nitpick and repair. I'm just going to do a repair all, since I've got all of my walls into place now for the interior exterior part of the build, which I guess would be all the walls, right? This will be my bedroom. This will be my bathroom. And this will be like kitchen area slash maybe a little either a kitchenette and then like kind of a little living room area, right? So it's not a big space to build under. It's only 1.75 foundations deep by 2 foundations wide. So it's like a little less than 4 squares around. So you kind of got to work with what you got. But the nice thing about that is it gives you a lot more autonomy for having a lot of really awesome decor. So for now, I'll just do this on all sides. This artificial wood panel wall is one of the more generic ones that we have. Ironically, it's also one of my favorite. I'm sure all of you have faced those moments where the foundation shift a little bit, and then your wallpaper looks like it's slightly off. This is one of only a couple of wallpapers where the lines go vertically, so it hides that very well if your walls ever start shifting. So I am a fan. For that purpose. They also don't show through a lot of the glitching that sometimes happen when you have overlapping wallpapers. I was really thinking about double walling that, but now that I'm looking at it, I don't think I'd be able to get through that area if I double walled it. So we'll make that the feature wall. And what will happen is everything else inside will end up being whatever wall color I choose. I'm not going to go with the wood. It's just the first one that's on my wallpaper list. So I'll end up going with something probably a little classier than that, at least for this build. Doesn't mean you can't make that classy, right? Oh, come on. That's not what I wanted to see. Yes, I know I'm dying already again. Alright. So outside of the power outage, that's kind of, and a lot of the talking, right? In theory, I could have had this whole thing done in like an hour. Like the entire structure here would have been done in 1 hour, which is really fast to have something in place that's like super custom. Like anybody could probably do a build in an hour, but to have it like look really custom is I mean, I think that's really nice to be able to do that. Like by the time this is all said and done, like, and I don't know how it's going to do in the top 5, but I'll submit it to the top 5, you know what I mean? Because with the decor and all the budget we have for our decor, like I think that, you know, I think we can make this thing really pop. I said before that I'm not much of a decorator, but there are a few things that I do as somebody who understands some of the laws of decorating. One of those things is for these smaller spaces, I often use whites because it opens it up more. Now, oh really? One that you've been working on for 2 weeks? Man, I bet that's going to be really cool. But that white is going to really open up this area a little bit. At least it's going to make it feel more open. Now, one thing that we don't like here, right, is this. This looks hideous, right? Well, not hideous, but it looks like we could do something with it and make it look a little bit better. And we are going to, but I'm not going to do it until I have all my foundations exactly where I want them, which could end up meaning here soon that I might have to end up pre-logging again so I get my foundations into place one last time. But first, I want to see if I can get a floor in over here, and it's probably not going to let me. It's nice, man. You know, and Samurai, while I'm actually gonna log and go and jump into another server so that way I can get those floors back in. He brings up a really good point, right? So he has a friend who also does streaming, and you know, there's an inspiration there. This one thing that I really love about this community is the fact that like somebody knows somebody who does know somebody, and maybe you go 3 or 4 deep with that, but like the connections are there in such a way that like I'm like probably 2 or 3 people removed from probably everybody knowing me in the game. Or, and I'm not saying that because like I have like almost 13,000 subs. I'm saying that because like I'm just a good builder, and good builders, people who are really into building, gravitate to each other in such a way that like I know somebody, or like everybody knows each other. Like the circle is just, it's so much more condensed than like in other games where it's, you know, like, oh, that person, I've heard of them, they're so amazing. Like, you know, I could say like, oh wow, you know, I hang out with TNG or I hang out with Silver Bunny, but then like you guys can say like, hey, I hang out with Moonlight Cowboy, or I've played with him in game, and then I've also met TNG or Silver Bunny or the Akiras or Alex, you know, and it like the tree just branches out like in such a nice way to where like you can get all the way to like throughout the entire Fallout building universe. Uh, and that's what I like about it, because I don't like to feel like, oh, I hate these guys. I don't want to feel like I'm like on some kind of pedestal. That's usually why I come off as humble, because that's like I put on my pants every day the same way as you guys do, and I work a real job. Like this isn't my job, right? Otherwise, I would be failing at it. Hey, Nuka, how are you doing, my friend? Yeah, so see, I'm able to get my foundations in there now. It's just the game being the game. But I do have a decision to make before I do that. I could pop those foundations, because this is 1 3/4 wide. I could pop them out a little bit more on this side, right? Or what I could do, oh, of course you're gonna be break these. I know I just repaired everything, probably more for your sake than mine. Um, but like I'll end up breaking a lot of them. So I'm kind of at a crossroads here, and I have to make a decision because I could do a porch off of the front of this, right? I could do something like that. You know, and have that come off of the bridge. I mean, not quite like that, because that one's really high. They make lower versions, right? That one's just the high version. Like, you know, something like that where it comes off of the bridge a little bit. And I could do that, you know, as like a porch to go across. Or I just don't know what I want to do here. You know, that might be the trick. That might be what I do, is something like that. Let's see how far I could take that per se. Let me find a porch that I would actually want to use. Not that the red Helvetia is bad. I actually used that in a build very recently. But I might want to do something a little bit more contemporary here. And that will be the problem. It's not going to want to play nice going forward. like into the ground. So the way I would want to use it is if I could snap it that way, and it's not going to let me. So what we're going to do for now, let me just give it one more try. I'm going to see if I can move this over and get that out of the way for a minute and see if it'll work, because maybe it was getting in the way of that. But if it doesn't snap from here, then I'll probably end up extending out my porches. Oh, it did work. Well, would you look at that? And I got lucky on my little spinny that it actually went the right way. So this might be the answer. Let's see how far I could take this. And then you guys let me know if you think it looks good, and if so, then maybe I roll with it. And if not, then like I have no problem scrapping it. Of course. It is not wanting to. There we go. I finally found the angle with which that works. Yeah, I think that when it clips into the hill like that, it actually looks pretty good. If I could get one more in there, I'd feel a lot better about this. So we're going to try that. Let me see if I can get this in on this side. Possible. I didn't think this far ahead. Okay. So, fun trick. You can do this, and you can get foundations into places that you didn't want to, or that you didn't think you could, right? Let me see if I can make that work on that side. It's too far underground. Okay. And what we will do is we're just going to move this over here somewhere, maybe. And maybe I can get underground from there. Let's give that a whirl. I don't think I can, but what the hell? That's weird. I'm like stuck on something that's not there. What else is new? Alright, let's try it from here instead. Okay. That has completely glitched out. So we're going to go a different road here. I would, yeah, that's a possibility. I won't rule that out. But like, it should, it should still let me play it. And there's also this weird thing going on. See how I'm like staggering? I can't even get around there for some reason. So if I put it over here, it's still not letting me play it, right? There's something wrong with that item. I might have broken it. Don't worry. Obviously there's more than one way to make this work. So this won't be the thing that breaks me today. But apparently, let me try something else. We'll go a different direction with this. My least favorite category to look for items is this category, the miscellaneous structure category. Yeah, see, look, I can't even take a shower right now. This is so weird. This game is acting a fool today. I'm going to move camps real quick. and then try and move it back here in a minute and see if that fixes the issue. This game is acting ridiculous. You know, a lot of people say that I'm super patient, and now you're seeing this and you're like, you know, I don't know if he really is that patient. Oh man, yeah, that's crazy. I don't know what's going on. Okay, let's try something else. See if this works. Okay, I can do a crafting station. Well, that's great. That's like the least opt way for me to do this, but we can make it work. All right, so it would have to be when the first time I decide to do a live stream, right? All right. Spoon out. No. There. Okay, let's see if I can get underground this way. Mm. You know, you're not wrong there, Nuka. I agree with you. I wish things were easier. Um, but you know, to the other side of this, you know, this is something I joke with Silver Bunny sometimes. Is if it were easy, then I wouldn't have a YouTube channel. All right, I was able to get underground here to an extent. So let's see if I can get that last one snapped in there. If I can do that, I will feel really good about today and how it's going. Of course, I probably need to get under this hill too. Okay. Let's try and get under that hill too then. Okay, the spoon is facing out. Everything's going to be a pain. Alright, let's see if I can get under. I don't know, we'll try this. I might be too close. Yeah, it popped me back up. Let's. God, I don't know why the shower and so if the shower's not working, that means that the chair isn't working. I'm not understanding why those things aren't working today. Also, oh, son of a biscuit. So you guys know what I'm trying to do is get underground so I can try and snap one more of these porches going across. Yeah, I've been server hopping a lot, Nuka. This is like the fourth or fifth time because I'm having a lot of issues with getting like foundations. Like I've been struggling with these foundations all day. Speaking of, while I'm here, and if I do have to server hop again, I want to get these foundations in place now because I really feel like that this is the route I'm going to go to. Yeah, it's just been a real bear today. For some reason, things are not wanting to play nice in the sandbox with me. Alright, so I'll flip one of these. And then it's just this side that's not playing nice now. Might have something to do with that porch. Nope. Okay. What that'll probably mean is I'll probably have to break some stuff in order to make that work. I get it. It's this wall. And it might even be that wall there. So we're just going to go ahead and break those real quick. And then, yep. So all my floors in here are aligned. And then I have a little back area too that I can play with, like so. And that's fine. I got a little lip over there. That's not the end of the world. I actually think that adds to it a little bit. And then what I can do from there is I can add like little planters and stuff to kind of church that area up in the back. So that works out just fine. And I'm going to put my porch back here. And then if I must, we will then do the server hop of shame again. But I really want to try and get one of those in there. I could probably do that later. It's not like critical. I'm 80% sure I can get one to work there, and then I like the effect that it goes from like hill to hill, and then I think that'll look really clever. Like, you know, like I know what I'm doing. So for now though, I think we can work on some other things, right? So rather than get laser focused on the one thing that isn't working, and it's not even really in the way of what we're doing right now. So what I can do is we can start working on this, on the interior. Let's get all the walls set up, and then the bathroom will probably have a feature wall, right? Like we don't want it to be white on white on white. So maybe that's the feature wall, and maybe you walk in and you have that nice little space. I don't know. We can always play with the wallpaper side of it. We've got nice little windows. And I'll have to repair all because that one is in the way. Yeah, that does not look too bad at all. Okie dokie. So, again, bedroom space, bathroom space. It'll be a tiny bathroom, but that's okay. A little hallway, kitchenette, living space here. And then I've got my door. So the next part of this project, because if we want to move the floors around for any reason, I want to get my doors in. Doors are very fickle things. They sometimes don't play nice. So I want to make sure that I have those in play. Now, I have to decide which way I want it to open. And that's going to determine the door. And the reason why I mention that is I'll kind of show you real quick my thought process on this. Before I even put the door on, I'm thinking about where my kitchen's going to go. So if I go down in floor decor, and I'm going to use the thickest counter possible just to get scope of what I can get away with, right? So we'll say, let's just do this in place for now. Right? I mean, it's not perfect. It's probably not what I'm going with, but I at least want it as a placeholder to make sure I'm using the right door and it's opening the right way. So if I go back to doors, and we will go with that, right? You've got to be kidding me. The doors don't work right now. What? Ah! Well, I am going to at least put them on for now in case that becomes an issue. And now we're going to swap servers again. What a crock. I can't believe that that's happening right now where I can't even open doors. This, by the way, is a new thing, and it's only happening because I'm live streaming. That I've literally come to that decision. I've never had it to where doors are broken. That's a first for me, and I'm one that likes to say that I've kind of seen it all, even though I haven't. Obviously, I haven't because now doors don't work. kill everything again. Cool. Right? Livestream curse for the loss. Now doors are working. And that one's flipped going the other way. That's okay though. Because it'll let me test a theory. That might be the door we go with, for the reasons that, like, it'll open up really nicely right there. And it won't interfere with the counter. Now, I probably won't go with this wood panel exterior, so maybe we should figure out what that looks like first. I tend to think we'll go with something like that. Probably not because of that line there. No, that looks crappy. Well, at least for context, I can take a look at this, see what it looks like. So, doesn't look too bad. I think the door kind of stands out a little too much that way. But I do like the fact that when you open it up, you can immediately go over here. And any other door that I use will probably open up from this side right here, meaning that I block that on the way in. That is a pickle. Let's try it. Let's see what that looks like. I don't know. So we'll go back down here. I'll choose another door. Maybe something, we'll just say something like that. I mean, I can still get through over here, no problem. You do get the view of, like, the kitchen right there, if I were to put it there. Yeah, maybe that's what we go with. So we'll have that door open up on that side. I have not set on this wallpaper yet, so don't think that this is like the end all be all, but I at least want to have my doors set because I'm going to design around those next. Oh yeah, that ain't gonna work. So cool. So I have to go a little thin on this side because that's where the door is gonna open. So that would be like a spot where the toilet would probably go, or the sink if it were thin enough. But I would check to make sure there's no, like, clipping issues right there. And there's not, so that's perfect. We would do the toilet on that side because having the sink and stuff here will be much more of, like, a visual appeal once that gets decorated than the toilet being there. So that actually works out. And then I could just change that to, you know, basically whatever I want, except for a glass door, because that would look absolutely horrendous, right? Oh, but that yellow door looks nice. Not there, but maybe for the front door. Might use that to make this pop. And for now, I'm just going to throw that puppy right there. I like that yellow door. I haven't used it in a while either. It's nice because it does give it a little pop. It's a nice accent piece. Two people can use the bathroom at the same time. Yeah, kinda, sorta. Yeah, it's a separated bathroom by the fact that it's literally one of the smallest bathrooms in existence. And then here, what we're gonna have to do, I already have a plan for this space. So I'm one, if you can't tell, I like to align stuff very, very well. But because this space is going to be so small, I'm going to put the bed against this wall over here. But in order to do that, we're going to do something a little bit special, right? So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to see if there's a rug that fills this space. A reason for that is I want to separate out the rooms a little bit and give them a little bit more texture. So we're going to go up to rugs. It also breaks up the space a little bit too. and it helps it feel more decorated. So if you're ever in one of those positions where you're like, wow, my camp feels so empty because I didn't follow like budget logic, and I went ahead and I used up too much of my budget on the build itself. What do I do? How do I make it look fully decorated? Use more rugs. Using rugs will help it break up that space a little bit and make it fill. Or change your floors to something of a more drastic look. Like I love it. Thank you. I love like floors like this, right? So just having that there, like from a visual perspective, makes it feel a lot more decorated. And I know I just got done saying a few moments ago that like decorating is my least favorite part of building, and that I still own that as to be true. But that doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm doing a little bit. All right, that feels pretty centered. That's great. Okay. So now I want to at least get the bed in there and see how this is going to fit. But what I'm going to tell you right away what's probably going to happen, and we're going to test it just to make sure. So this will be fun. This is one of those things that you definitely want to test when you're building in a pre-existing structure because you just never know. So the bed I'm going to use is this bed. But what might happen is it might pop up to the top. Now it did not here, but if you're in tight spaces, the bed will pop up in the top. So how do you get around that? Like let's say that bed popped up through here. Now it's tall enough to where I would have been able to grab it out from the top of the bridge, right? So not a big deal. What I would have actually done, knowing full well I can build on this rug, is they would have actually put this bed on this rug on the outside of the camp, got everything decorated, and then brought it back in. So that would have made it super, super easy. But those are one of those things you learn once you lose a bed a few times. So now what are we going to do with this? I want to use this bed. I think this bed's the right size. There's a couple of things we can do with this to kind of make it look custom. Because from here, we're not just going to decorate it out with like standard stuff, right? That's not why we're here today. We're going to look at some custom ways to do our beds, among other things. So one of the things we can look at, and I did this in a build that you haven't seen yet because I haven't released it. Let's see if I can find the right bed. Use my old rugs in my workshop's offset and a little category to break up the lines. Yes, I do that too if the room is big enough. I would agree with you on that. So most of the beds follow like 2 or 3 different sizes with a couple of one-offs. This bed follows this, so we can merge it into this, right? And then give this bed a custom feel. And also a little bit of a graphic too, right? Because we have the fog that comes out of there. We can do that. And it'll look cool. And again, I just did that in a recent build. This is one that everybody really loves. This one that I'm about to do though, because it just, for the space when it's this small, it really makes sense. So I just gotta find the category because I'm blind. Where are you? Where's the, there it is. This right here is one of my favorite merges. The alignment piece is kind of a pain. So notice I'm using the back of the bed, or like the bed area there, to kind of come up with the line. Like so. I'm looking to make sure it's far enough back. And it appears to be. And then I'm checking to make sure it's centered, which it appears to be. Okay. And we can always go and adjust it. So now we're just going to go into my power connectors and merge it. And what we're effectively doing is making a day bed that matches. I think I'm the first one to come up with this particular merge. That doesn't make me special or make the merge special. I sometimes what I've done in the past is I'll just line up different kinds of furniture and see what matches. And when these two things come together, they're really matchy. And because of how tight that space is, you won't see the edges of the couch where it has like that gingerbread effect on the side there. This thing is going slow today. That's okay. Another cool effect of doing this is sometimes when you put things on these canopy beds, they'll hop up to the top if the items are too big. Because of where this couch will be, you can actually set stuff and it'll stay wherever that couch is at because it'll see the couch as the new ground. It won't see the canopy. In the world of Bethesda physics, air quotes, Bethesda physics. All right, we're almost there. Oh, yeah, look how matchy that is. That's nice. So now we have a day bed, right? And now I can just slap that puppy in here. Like so. And I might move it closer to the other side of the wall too. In fact, maybe we do that now. Because maybe I can fit a dresser on that one side and then that will cover it up. And the other thing I can do here too is it hides that the like headboard piece a little bit when I get it into the wall far enough. Like so. Oh, oh, but then that happens, right? Maybe we won't be hiding off the bed, that part of the bed. Yeah, that's fine. We can make it work. And then we can put a dresser right there, and that will hide that part right there with the couch. And I think that looks pretty good. Like you got a nice little day bed there. You have plenty of room to work. We could put like a little chest there. We could put a chest of drawers here. Um, Maybe put some wall art, to break up the monotony of the space, right? But I think we've got a good solid start for a bedroom. We already have the bathroom figured out. This over here, we could put like a wall armoire, like say something like that stash box that we have, or you can build your own, or you can make your own shelves or something here. You could do any of the sort. Uh, the lazy way to do it would be to just where is it? Slap one of these puppies in here. You could do like a bookshelf there, right? You could do this thing is what I was talking about. You could be lazy and put one of those there. And I mean, at least the space is filled. And like, if you were down on like a budget crunch, that's what I would do. Or what'll probably end up happening is maybe something like, let's do it out here, just so you can see what I'm talking about. Ah, there. And that actually sinks back a little deeper. And then what I could do is probably decorate the heck out of that, right? I'll have to probably merge a lot of stuff in there to make that work and make it look nice. But I'm also curious if I can get a fourth one up in there. Yeah, let's just see for funsies. Darn it, I screwed that up. Let's just start over again. Let's do it from up here. So another thing you could do, let's see if this works first before I like talk myself out of this thing. Yeah, so that is stacked. It won't work. But one thing you could do too, and I've done this in many, many builds, is let's say you don't have a lot of decorating space, and maybe you don't have that armoire. You can put this in backwards, and then just create a couple of like, a couple of handles coming out of it or something, and then you can make your own custom armoire. And when I say handles, followers of my channel will definitely know this. Let's go to wall decor. These guys right here are the laziest, easiest things to use. And they also add a bit of pop. So so you could use this one. It's a little thinner. I use this often because you get like two for the price of one. And not saying I'm going with this, but like just for context, like you could do something like that to kind of make it either a feature wall or you can make it like its own like set of arm wall with its own handles, and you could of course split those up a little bit more too, right? If you wanted to, like you're like, oh, that looks a little too gauche. Let me see. Hold on one second. Muka says, I like the shells. Maybe something on top of that will fit. Yeah, probably. So, like, when I get fully ready to put these in here, I could probably get something in there or something on there that's maybe half the size. The other thing I can do too, so to his point, right? So let's say, watch this. So we saw I couldn't fit it in that space before. So another option for this would be we go the 4, right? And then I merge it down to fit. And I don't see any flicker there, so that's good. And because it's like so much merging and I'm on a public server, it's gonna, just take its sweet ass time to get down. See, I could go, let's try that real quick and let's see if that was enough. And if not, I can always go back out. Oh, look at that. See? And yeah, see, I could actually get it a lot closer just by merging it down a little bit to give it more of a feature wall look or what have you. Or I could have put something on top of it too, right? I could have just drug it out, put something up there for decor purposes. No, yeah, actually, Alex, the game did not crash. I'm not going to blame Bethesda for this one. My power went out briefly. I live out in like no man's land, so it completely went out, and so I would love to blame somebody else for my issues. I mean that's human nature, but unfortunately I can't do that this time. So anyways, yeah, so I could do that, and that was pretty easy. I just did the same stacking method, and then however I wanted to do a wall there, I could make those shelving, or if I wanted to do it, I could do it a different way. I know, right? The other way I could do this, if I wanted to make it look like a large closet. Um, oh, lordy, I hear the danger music is going on. Is there somebody else left here? Anybody else want a piece? No. Okay. Nobody wanted a piece, which is good because I don't have a lot of pieces to give. My character, like I said, is kind of. Oh, there is somebody. Ah, lordy. All right. I hope that's everybody. All right. I had a question in the chat while I was dealing with that happy horse poo poo. Yes, I could put the alien bench on top with those lights, and that would look good. I can concur with that. Um, but another thing too, because I do love these lights, is the letter I has no like top or bottom lines. So another one you could do is like an armoire like that. So that looks more like a built-in. You know, I'd probably make them a little higher, obviously, than that low, and probably bring them a little closer together. Maybe that's too high, but I think you're seeing the value in this. And yeah, now they're super crooked too. But I think you get the point. So maybe we go a little lower with them, right? And then... And there's other things you can do for handles too. Like, that's not the end-all be-all. And yeah, even those are just slightly off. But you get the point. Like, you know, you can create furniture without having to do, like, oh, there. I think that's pretty close. I think I went a little too low. These things are very, like, if you have an eye for it, you, like, can notice when it's messed up pretty quick. There, those are even. And that looks pretty good. So, like, but yeah, you can do all kinds of fun stuff like that if you just get a little creative. If you don't have those letters, other things that I like to do is I like to use the back of those steins. So I think I've got one. I think I've got them stored here for this exact purpose. Yeah, so if you don't have those, but you have these steins, right? Like, this is great. And I'll show you something that you can do here. It's super low tech, but it'll give you the desired effect. So you can take these stein handles and pop them out. And essentially merge those down to create your handle sticking out. You have to, like, fiddle with them a lot to make sure they're perfect. But once you get it right, I've done this technique many, many times in the past to get where I wanted to get some custom handles. Yeah. It's also easier if you break one to get them closer to each other. See what I mean? And then from there, like, you could, I mean, these aren't going to be perfectly off center. Yeah, you could blueprint them too, right? Once you get them to the spot you want them to be at. But, like, this would be an easy one if you wanted handles coming out. So you still get your handles, and those look like cupboards, or they could be, right? So rather than having to, which, although it's really nice to decorate the entire inside of these things, that can end up eating a lot of budget if you're doing a lot of that. So if you need to still fill space and make it look custom, flip the thing around. One of my favorite things to do that to is actually this guy right here. Because if you notice on the back of this white one specifically, it looks like, why? There. You see that line right here? It already looks like that one is broken down. So you can use things to get in there. So another idea that, and this has been done to death, but I'll show you anyway for those of you guys that have not seen this before. Another idea you could use for handles on things, Florida Core, it's going to be, I love finding stuff in the menu, these Cappy Clapper feet. Now, you can get both these items in-game, right? The Cappy Clapper you can get in-game. It just takes some finagling to make sure that the legs pop out just a certain way and that they're straight. I use the back, like that little like wind-up thing in the back to kind of align it. It looks like they might not pop out, but you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. And if they do pop out, you just pop the thing back up to get them. And yeah, they popped out a little bit. So, I mean, so you could literally move that back a touch. And in order to do that, you have to move it forward a touch because it won't let you just move it back slightly, right? Like so. Okay. And that actually still looks just a touch off center. So we're going to move that over. Let's see. So this is another easy one, and this is one that anybody could do, because you can get a pressure plate, you can get the cappy clapper, and you can get all these things in game very easily. And yeah, I got a little bit still that popped out, but I think you guys get the point. Like, those make really great handles, especially on like furniture where you want rounder handles. Um, but yeah, it's just about getting creative. And again, I could have filled the entire shelf space with this, with like 20 items, but I lose just a little bit of decor value, but I still fill a space where I need a decor spot. Maybe if I'm low on budget, I have a spot. I have something now. I can just put that cabinet somewhere and fill a fair amount of space. So just some cabinet ideas. I would say that I cabinet and kitchens are probably my favorite part of the decor when I'm doing decor, because I think a kitchen really feels like it should be the centerpiece of a house, right? Like, that's usually the gathering spot. I do a lot of cooking. I worked in restaurants for many years before I transitioned into veterinary medicine. That's what I do for a living. Um, but um, it, I think that it. What? Oh, there we go. I think the kitchen is like the home. Well, the name of it, but the backside of one of the big displays looks nice, like a dresser. I wonder which one you're talking about. Backside of a display. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I was about to get into lighting here in a minute too. Actually, I think this would be a great way to segue into some lighting, because we have a bedroom that's partially done. Why don't we cap that off real quick, and we will actually do a little bit of lighting. I'm gonna leave this off to the side because I might end up using that somewhere. And if you notice, this game is just really starting to not like these merges. But I know we want to put like a chest of drawers over here at this wall back here. So what I might actually do, the big wooden display. Let's see. This one also works for drawer, or for like cabinets. I mean, we did just get a cabinet. I assume it's, let's see which one. I think you're talking about this one right here, the Thanksgiving one. It's definitely not that one, but it could be that one. I never use. I don't. I should say I'm not good at. I haven't explored displays as much as I probably should. I do sometimes for certain things, but I don't do it as much as I should. Um, okay, so the biggest one. Oh, you mean the monstrosity? Displays right here. You mean that guy right here? Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Um, no. Oh God, I'll have to catch up with you on that. I wonder. I mean, I should have it right. Oh, that's fun. Can display clothing in it. Mm. Is it that one? I'll catch up with you about it on the side, because I'm not. That's the beautiful thing about vision, right? Alex sees things that I don't see. Um, all right. So what I'm going to do here, I want to add a little light in there. And hold on one second. Let me catch up on chat. The Stanley Armoire, maybe. Yeah, possibly that one too. That's probably what he's talking about. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to tables, and I'm going to see if this fits in there. And if this fits in that space, which it looks like it wants to, it looks like it will if I break the bed. Let's see. Yeah, that'll work fine. So what we'll do is I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to double stack it, and then I'm going to merge it down. I'm going to use a new pressure plate since that one is being taken up by a bunch of ghost items. I'm going to create a taller dresser armoire system here. And then I could just easily place that in position over here. And that'll fill up that gap and also probably cover that thing up too, where the couch comes out right there, right? So we got that guy. Let's see how that looks in there. I think it takes up too much space, I think. So we can actually do another one, and we can do the smaller version of that if we don't want to take up as much space. What I'm doing here is I stack that on there purposefully just so I have it to where it's not going to be crooked. And then I can place these next ones on top of it. I just have to be really intentional with it. Yeah, that looks about right. And now I have like kind of a taller, maybe more like a jewelry type armoire type situation here that I could put in here, and then it's not taking up all of that real estate. I still want some of this to pop out. And I don't think that looks bad. So what we could try and do with this, because I still need some light. Let's look, wait for it. We'll see if I can get this to work. Of course, this might be a character that I don't have it on. One of the downsides to having 5 characters that build is that you don't have the plans for everything on every character. So I was going to say the Mothman would be a great option here, the Mothman Lantern. Obviously, I don't have that. So what we can do is I can do a couple of things. I can do my favorite light item in the game, which is, I'll show you. It's this guy right here. Add some really great lighting. It's low, right? So, and then what I can do with that, even in a situation like this, is I could stack it, possibly, that. Oh yeah, definitely getting a lot of frenemies coming by to check out my camp. Super mutants, basically everything under the sun. So I could add backlighting to it like that, so that way I get a little bit of an accent piece there without actually having to put a lamp there. Now, because I use 3 of those lights, that cost me 1.5 budget, or I'm sorry, 3 budget versus 2 budget for a lamp. Whereas in a lamp, I could have gotten, I could have put 1 lamp in there and it would have cost me, less budget. But the lamp wouldn't have given me such low lighting, and like I was able to disperse that lighting around this item, so that way like it wasn't flooding out this space, but I still illuminated the whole thing. And bonus, I can still put something on top of there too, right? So from here, let me see. So that's going to be way too big for that space probably. So I might just do another one of these, and I might do something like this where it's like more catty cornered, like what we talked about, breaking up space, right? And I think that that could look pretty cool. Now I'd have to decorate it out, obviously. We'll put some plants there. One of my favorite merges to do as well, and I'm just go ahead and do it. So we go to appliances and we go down here to this guy. Now this ashtray is not one that you would look at typically to decorate your camp. But what you can do with this, floor decor, is this right here. So you can put that in there on top of this thing, and you just got to make sure it's perfectly centered, right? Which can be pain. So what I usually do is I rotate it like this. I get it there, and then I kind of just bring it in a little bit, and then until it's perfect. Or at least close enough to perfect where nobody's going to notice, right? Except me. So that's pretty good right there, right? This also works with succulents too. Oh, of course. This is a great way to like have like a little extra space, and now you have yourself a little planter here. It looks like a stand planter, right? Now, let's see if I can get away with this, if it'll let me. I haven't actually tried to do it this way before, so we'll see if it actually lets me. And it looks like it might. Oh. No, I don't want to repair. Now I do. So it came out the back a little bit, and I could redo it, or full knowing that this is going to be like a wall piece like that, I can just have it do that, right? And then this would be something I might look at having back behind that table in theory, or in a space where I don't have like a lot of decorating room, because this doesn't take up a lot of real estate. It does vertically, but it doesn't like in terms of your floor space. So in theory I could do something like that, get it as close to the wall as I can, right? And then break it, and then push this puppy back towards it, like so. And then boom, I have a little bit of extra decor plus a little light there, right? And I can always add a ceiling fan, but in all honesty, if I had a ceiling fan or a ceiling right here, it's not going to work very well, at least aesthetically. And the reason for that is because if you notice, see the bridge, it's just designed to look like there's space there, but it actually won't let you sink things into it. Now I can sink things into it by going inside the bridge and then creating that light that way. And we might end up doing that at some point here, but like that's why I'm like adverse to putting lights up there per se. So I'd rather do the lighting in other ways. Like, so we talked earlier about like I can stack things on this bed easier even without this canopy. So this is why like sometimes I like to use the stuffies. Floor decor. We go down, we look for a stuffy. Of course, unless I passed it, which I'm sure I did. Where are you? There we go. So everybody loves a little bunny, right? Velveteen rabbit. So I could just add a little light to him, or her, or it. And we can do a similar thing here. And not only am I adding a decor piece, but then I'm going to make that bed pop a little bit more, also adding lighting to the room. I have builds in that I've displayed and have been successful that have almost no actual lights. They all have like these little miniature holiday lights for this purpose. Oh lordy, I lost it. Okay. Yeah. And because, see, you can even see the bunny's feet sink in a little bit. That's because it's sitting on the couch, and then it's not going to pop up on the top of that bed. But then I also added a little extra lighting there, right? So I think all in all that's a win towards the lighting piece. And then we just got to figure out some more decor items for the table and stuff. But I really feel like the room itself is coming together, and it like has a good flow because you can walk straight in. You can still go and probably sleep in the bed. You know, we could play with this couch, see if I could sit in it. Yeah, we can. Oh, this is gonna look really, really crummy. Oh, it made me get up regardless. Oh, yeah. So that's gonna happen too sometimes. But you can still sleep in it, which is nice. It does kind of look like your head is resting on the pillow, but we know that it's going through the pillow, so. And cool, I can get out. So the next thing I've got to start thinking about is that kitchen. So what I would like to do is probably push the kitchen over here, and this way I can hide the hill, the little dirt mound in there. A lot of times when you're building in these pre-existing structures, you're going to have to hide certain dirt piles like this. It's going to happen, but the good news is as long as you have flooring underneath, you can usually place stuff through it, so it's not going to be like an obstacle. Now, if there was no flooring here, it would sit on top of that dirt pile. So we'll look at what counters I want to use. Floor decor. And I'm probably going to cheap out and use the white ones because they're going to take up a lot of space. Now, I will still have a little bit of a dirt pile there, but it's way better than having that big wonky one that we have currently. I don't even know why I'm completely lining this up because this is going to end up coming out so I can do all of the fun merges to it. There's a lot of ways. I mean, I know we went through this lighting till I'm blue in the face, right? There's a lot of ways you can do like fun cabinet stuff on these. And I did a whole tutorial on stuff that you can do, like make really cool kitchen counters. One of the things I don't think I mentioned in there is, let's go back. So you can put these drawers in here. Yes, you did. Welcome to the show. You can do stuff like that too, right? Without having to do some crazy merges. And you can still have your drawers, and that still looks really custom. So it doesn't always have to be like my favorite thing in the whole wide world, which is the Kwanzaa. It can be something cool like that. And then when I'm done, even when I'm done with all the merges that I'm going to put into this thing, I can still do this after the fact. It's not gonna like stop me. And now I have cool drawers, and it didn't cost me really. It cost me one budget to do that, and I'm gonna do it like 2 or 3 times, so I have drawers going all the way across. But we'll see. So for now, let's go ahead and pull this guy out here. And I'm sorry for those of you who are watching. I have a lot of things that have kind of glitched out over here right now, as you can see, because I can just kind of put them through. I'm trying not to use that area. So the first thing we want to try and do is I'm going to think about what does a kitchen need, right? Kitchen needs really 3 main items. It needs a stove, it needs a sink, and it needs some form of refrigeration. So first and foremost, let's see if I can use a refrigerator to cover up that spot over there more so on that side. And if I can do that, then the refrigerator will go against that wall, which would be preferred. Yeah, I could see a world where that covers up most of it, right? You know, especially if I pop it off the wall just a little bit. And you won't really be able to tell once I get that kitchen cabinet into place. You know, maybe a little bit more like that, right? So we're not covering up the frame of that window. And so at the end of this, we'll have that tiny little bit of dirt piece. But again, I could always put mats in front of the fridge. You know, we all have like kitchen mats that we have, and I'll make some out of rugs, and it'll cover up most of it. You'll see a touch of it, but it's better than having that giant dirt pile in there, and then we can still have our clean build, right? Okay, so the next thing we want to figure out is the sink and then the oven. So I can be basic and just slap an oven in there. Where is it? I do like this stove. I know people are, not necessarily fans of it, but I do for the fact that you have the burners and you have the switches up there. So sink in, it's not so bad. I do like to church it up a little bit. I don't want it to be like just some boring thing. So what I'll do is, let's do this. I'm gonna make this real easy on myself. Where did I put that light? There. Nope. Nope. There it is. So what I can do here, actually that's not the right one, is I've got to find it. So these things here, they are they were like a little decor set for the Watoga area. I might just be better off. Yeah, damn it. We'll go up. I know exactly where they're at anyway, so, and this menu. Those guys right here. So what I'll do oftentimes is I'll like center these in, and then they make the burners look a little cleaner. But even before I do that, what I'll even do from there, because I love like accent lighting, is I'll put them on here, and then I'll put little miniature holiday lamp posts inside of those. And then I'll merge those down, and then I have even more accent lighting. Now these don't have to be 100% perfect, because you're not going to see, you're just going to get the effect of the light. You don't have to worry about them being perfectly centered. Now let's say for a moment that you don't like the idea of, you want it to be really clean, or you want it to be really custom, and you don't want to cheap out like I want to do by using that stove, right? Even though churching it up sounds really nice and all, you don't want to use it. You can do something else too. Let me get out of build mode and hop back in because it's starting to get laggy. You can go to your tables, right? And one thing that I've done a lot of is, where is it? There. I've done a lot of these here before, where I merge the table down, and then that table acts as like a flat top, like kind of like a ceramic, like you would see in a kitchen where you have those flat round burners like that. The problem that I'm going to run into with a table like this is that because it's going to have to pop out the back slightly, it won't work because of the wall, that this wall right here probably won't let it pop in too much. We can try it though, because there is a little bit of a buffer. If I weren't to get that to work, I would look at something more like, let's see, not that, something like this I have done a few times. You can merge those down in there, and then that can be kind of your flat top on top of the stove. It looks a little bit more weathered, but it still looks good. Alright, so this is the pain, is trying to get these perfect when you start doing this. It is absolutely a pain. See that they get all like wonky. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so like I see stuff like that and it just drives me bonkers. But actually, I think I did a pretty good job there. That one can come in ever so slightly. And that one can too. Yeah, I think that's actually not too bad. Alright, so then what I'll do is I'll merge this down to the table. And it's probably going to be like a nightmare because of how much like merging is going on here. Notice how slow it's going. But I think we might be able to make this work. While we're doing this, we also are going to be thinking about our sink, right? We want to get a sink in there because, like I said, we need really 3 components to make a kitchen look functional. I have done kitchens without refrigerators before, but I've made things that look like refrigerators in order for it to make sense. I'm going to pop that down one more time. And yeah, now we've got like our burners, right? Now I'm going to get that. Yeah, like something like there maybe. Looks pretty good. I just want to make sure that the table legs don't pop out, right? Because that'll look horrendous. Now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to look at a sink. I already know what I'm going to do here for a sink. There are several ways to do a sink, and I think the Akira's came out with one recently that was really good. But the simplest way, if I merge the sink directly down, it's just going to sit like the basin of the sink. You'll see that. So rather, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to double stack them like that, and I'm going to merge them down. And then what I do, then I get like kind of a thicker rim sink. It looks a little more custom, but I no longer get that it poking out of it. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Yeah, go ahead. What's your question? Oh, God bless it. I hate it when that happens. I pop it back up like a moron. Doing a small house you did on your hanging roof tutorial. Wondering, hold on, let me pull it up in chat so I can read it out thoroughly. And I'm not opposed to going and taking a look at a build too. All right. Oh, thank you, Nuka Cola Nut, for the $10 donation. By the way, you didn't have to do that. So I'm doing the cute small house you did on your hanging roof tutorial, and wondering if you remember if you did the double walls on your front doors. I don't believe I did double walls on the front doors. I believe that those were the firewall doors or the fire hazard doors. I think that's what those were. But we can go check that out here in a minute. I'm not opposed to that if it's on this character. I can't remember what's on what anymore. But let me finish this merge. I do believe that those were just our fire safety doors is what they're called, and I do believe that's what those were. Okay. So the reason why I'm stacking them up like this is actually I think that this table and the height on all of this is going to work out pretty perfectly. Well, let's see. I actually think that what I'm going to need to do You just got the catwalks and I'm having a hard time. Let's see. Yeah, when I'm done doing this merge, I can go swap over there real quick and we can go take a look at it. It's no problem. I mean, I'm sure you guys don't want to just watch me build. We could always look at a couple of my builds and then any questions, or if there's any you've ever wanted to see certain details on, I have no problem with that. This is not really a strict live stream. This is kind of my first one, right? So, okay, so what I'm going to do here real quick on this merge, I'm going to pop that up just a touch. And that looks like that'll work. And then I can merge this down. Merging in adventure mode is so slow. But I think you guys get the point on this. So right here, this is a great segue. So had I not done that double sync merge, either this cabinet would have came through the sink basin and you would have just seen that black face, or you would have gotten it would have gone in, or it would have been sitting higher up because this basin goes down, right? So that's why we do the double sync part. And it also gives me a little bit more flexibility here, right? Because I want to get that table down as low as it'll go. I think I can do one more. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm absolutely in a public server. I do need to swap back to a private server again. That is the issue. The problem is I keep having to swap in and out lately today, because I was having trouble getting foundations in and out, Alex. And then what was happening is I was having to transition back in and out of servers and swapping back and forth to get that. So yeah, there is quite a bit of lag. But for funsies, that's going to be the kitchen. And then I'm going to do this real quick, and then we can go take a look at that build real quick. I don't have a problem with that. These refrigerators, man, they take a lot of arrows. It's such a pain. So going down to floor decor, and then going back down to my cabinets, here's what we're going to do. So I don't want the kitchen to take up that much real estate. So what we're going to do instead is I'm going to put that as a placeholder. Actually, I could have gone a lot closer with that. Let's do this instead. Let me get this as close to the fridge as it'll go, right? Then I'm going to snap this to the refrigerator, right? So we're kind of inside of the refrigerator now, which is perfect. So then I'm going to take this thing, I'm going to bring it back outside for a minute. And then, and yes, I will be going to private server after this, because this is atrocious. I'm going to take it to like maybe here. Then I'm going to pull this thing back in and I'm going to snap it to this cabinet. So I was able to snap through that refrigerator, which gives me a lot more space here to work with. Gives me a flush connection with the refrigerator, so it looks like it's built in. And it gives me space. The other thing I didn't have to do here too is use a bunch of these. These small ones are okay, but as you will see, you get those lines in the middle with these small ones. Now, sometimes that's okay when you're making your own custom drawers and stuff, but in this case, I want it to be white and flush, so this works better. So with that said, I am going to switch servers real quick. And that way we can go to, I want to see something real quick. Does this one have that house on it that we were talking about? No, it does not. But I am going to quit it for now and go to the private server. I don't know which character that's going to be on. It would take me some time. What I can do is I can answer you on the side and send you some messages, and maybe we can work through what your issue is with the one that I believe you're talking about, the one that's on Seneca Rocks. Um, for the sake of time, I don't want to have to look for it because I have 50 camps. Well, if you count this one, I have 50 camps, so it's kind of hard sometimes to find them, and I'm very bad at looking for them, unless it's like the main ones, because I have like thumbnails for like my main camps, like my Ultrasite Mountain or those guys. Um, Anywho, yeah, no, yeah, I got 50. It's hard to keep up with what I've got sometimes. And then of course, what happens, right? It's easy. Like at first, you're like, oh, I have 50 camps, but I could just delete one, and then I could just make another one. Then you do that so often, and then you realize, man, I really like the 50 camps that I have, so you don't want to get rid of any. All right, Alex. Hey, man, you have a great Sunday, my friend, and we'll talk soon. Bye. All right. Now I'm gonna have to kill a bunch of people over here, but the good news is the lag will go away, at least. That's the plan. Oh, you can't escape my love. Come here. Alright, I think I got them all. There's usually 4 that spawn here. Okay, so back at it. So now we have more or less our kitchen in place. And I mean, I'm taking extra time to like help so you guys can see what I'm talking about, but in all honesty, like I could have had most of this done fairly quickly. So it like the design seems like it's complicated, but it's really not that hard to do. Anybody could do this. So I'm gonna put one cabinet here, and really the goal is just to make sure that it's only the drawers that are popping out, right? And then we can do another one over here. Then we repair, and now I've got a set of drawers for each side of the cabinet. I probably need to pull those ones in just a little bit more off to the side, right? Because I want them to kind of be even on both sides. So we'll destroy the cabinet one more time. And now I got custom drawers here, and that was pretty easy to do. One thing, and you notice too, I put these lights in here so it makes that pop just a touch. One thing that I'm huge on, obviously, is lighting. So, like, even though that this character, normally I would have, like, the Mothman lantern I would be using. I'm still going to put accent lighting in places, so that way my area pops. So if that means that I have to use a regular light, I will use a regular light to do so. Yeah, we'll try that one. All right, Nuka, man. Hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate you. You didn't have to do that. Super kind. Thank you. Have a good one. We also need to put our generator in place. And that was a struggle before because we weren't able to use doors for a minute there. So I'm going to get inside of the bridge here again. And I'm just going to pop down my generator. And for now I can basically go here. So that's not going to interfere with anything. And now I'll have power. And now that light will work. Yeah, and that you can kind of see it. I didn't want it to be like super bright, so I used kind of a light that I knew was like gave off slightly less light than others. I just wanted to have like a little accent light piece. And I'm going to add more accent light pieces there too. See if I can find it. I like to put those like these guys right here in like everything. Um, I'd rather do that than have a bunch of big obnoxious lights around. So what we got here is a toaster. I'm just gonna pop that. Oh, look at that merging. It's so much better off of the server or off of public. And then yeah, now I've got that, and that gives me a little bit more light. And then what I can do too, because what's a kitchen without like a little herb, right? Like herbs or like these things right here. So we could add that. Now, I don't center the light in this, and the reason for that, if I put it dead center, then you actually see it through. So what I will do is I'll put it inside of like this little red apple. I know that seems like a really kind of a small, minute detail, but when you see that light popping through, like the light bulb itself, it's a little annoying. Alright, I broke that one, so there's that one. So now I still get the same lighting, and I'll be able to hide that side without having the fuss. There. And without having that white light bulb pop out, right? And notice I'm basically starting to create my own lighting here without having to do anything like super special, like add a light. I'll probably still add a light, but if you notice too, like I said before, this bridge. Thank you, Lotus. Thank you so much for joining and joining back on even when my power went out. So you have a good one. Get to bed and get some rest. Yeah. So like I said, right up here, you can't add light up there very easily because of the. It looks like it's going to go in there. It won't. It's just the way that the physics work on this bridge. So the only places I can truly add lighting here is probably on these posts. But if I add this light here, right, it's going to shine obnoxiously, I think. So I'd rather do the lighting through fun things like adding it into the decor. So anyway, so go down. We're gonna add some fun little other things too to give it a little more pop. Just gotta find them. Okay, here's one. So that there, to me, that kind of looks like basil, right? So I'm gonna slap a light in that puppy, and we're gonna put that on the counter somewhere. Probably in this back corner where I don't have much. I mean, I have lighting, but there's not like any real decor there, right? And then I start thinking about other things that go in a kitchen. So one of my favorite bundles that ever came out is the Happy Kwanzaa bundle, and that's because you get these cool things like this right here. It gives light, but it doesn't count as light budget, which is amazing. Fruit plate, so a lot of really nice small decor items. So this corn right here is going to make its way into the build. Merge light into that. We're just going to pop that over here like so. And yeah, that's going to give off a little bit of light on that counter. At night, it'll be a lot more noticeable. Another thing we can do here too. There. Is I kind of want a little bit of light underneath the counter. So we might try and put a couple of lights there too. Just to add some glow to the floor. Nothing too bright. Probably see if I could squeeze one of those guys in. No, not really. Okay. What about this? Will that go in? Yes, it will. So I might add, because I've got plenty of budget to play with. Add like a few of those, right? Spread them out real nice. And now I have some lighting to go with it. And there. That kitchen now pops a little bit. What we need though is some decor above. Now remember, we have this guy over here, right? So this is going to be cool. So I would like to probably make this float up here on this wall. Seems like an impossible move, but it might be difficult, but I think we can do it. We're going to give it a go. So we're going to start with having this guy. Hopefully this doesn't pop through the roof. That's the goal. And it has not, but I probably need to move it off of there a little bit. There. Let's see if I can make this work. Okay. So remember, we created that thing there. We didn't know what we might do with it. So that's sitting a little low for me. So we might go up a little higher. Hopefully we don't lose it into the roof of that, because that'll be a pain to get out, but we can do it. We're also going to sink this down a little bit too, because it's going to pop those items up, as we saw a little bit. So I saw it go green. My big thing is trying to make sure that it's flush when it goes on, if we can get it to pop green. Yeah, the problem is it's not going to be close enough to the wall. Okay. Let's try from that height. We'll see if that works. Need support my butt. Okay. And then what we can do is just move the camp device off, and as long as I set this thing on there right, which it looks like I did, I now have a cabinet above my cooking area right there. So, and like if you were here earlier, you saw we added handles. Those handles are actually just Stein handles, right? But we can still church this up a little bit more too. Maybe add a little bit of signage to it. I think that's towards the bottom here. Oh, that won't fit there. It's going to be too big. So maybe something like a clock or something like that would be fine. Back under wall decor. A wreath might work, but I think that's a little too small to fill the space. So we'll go with a clock, see if we can find one that's going to make sense here. That actually doesn't look bad, and it matches the wood. Let's see. I kind of like that there, so we'll leave that for now. One thing that I'd probably be doing here is I'll probably add some backlighting to both of these things. So to do that, start with that one, and then that, and we'll see what we can squeeze in there. So when I do have to use lights, especially wall lights, one thing that I do like to use are the enclave lights. They're small and they make really great, like behind the scenes lighting, and they don't give off a ton of lighting, right? So like that would be one that I would slap like right there and right here, if it'll let me. And it will. And then it won't let me do one here right now. That's okay. stinks though, but it honestly it'd be poking out anyway. So let's see what that looks like. Oh, that doesn't look too bad. And we get a little bit of lighting on that clock anyway, so, you know, we'll make that work for now. But really, I mean, outside of a couple other little details, the kitchen part is going to be complete here. We're going to add a little bit of seating over here. The bathroom still needs some work. But let's go ahead and finish off this kitchen real quick. So I'm destroying everything one last time, because what I'm going to do is I want to add a little bit of floor mat action. God, I hate how hard these refrigerators are to break. Alright, so I think I have them already here somewhere. We'll go to floor mats. Here they are. So I like the ones that don't have a line on them, and I can use these pretty well to kind of break up the space in a kitchen. Like so. Yeah, see, that looks real nice. So don't be afraid to use those little mats. I like them a lot. There. For some reason I got stuck in third person mode. Yeah, I think the kitchen came out pretty good. Probably could add a couple little more decor items here and there, but I think overall I'm pretty happy with it. We'll need some seating here still, like I said. So we have like a armoire thing that we made there. It's like a built-in. We already have our toilet back here, so we already know what the layout's going to be. So we're not going to add a full tub. We don't have enough space for it, but we do have a feature wall. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a sink here. Now the sink is going to be a lot easier to an extent for what I'm going to do. So we're going to go to water, and instead of doing the merge that I did over here, I'm going to do one that you guys have seen quite often from me, which is this guy right here. Now, for those of you who don't watch my channel regularly or don't pay attention to that aspect of the builds that I do, you're like, but Moon, that looks like a dishwasher. Like, what are you going to do? That's hideous, right? And I would agree with you. So what we're going to do is I made this little blueprint. Hopefully I have it on this character. And if not, yes, I do. So I made this blueprint. It's basically like the TV blueprint that everybody has. And if you need to know how to do that, I not only have a tutorial on how to do the TV blueprint, but I also have a tutorial on cabinets, which I also cover this aspect of that in that tutorial. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure that it's kind of flush, right? And then yeah, great. And then from here, it's just about what handles I want to add, right? And I think we all know what I'm going to go with because it's my favorite. Oh, that reminds me, we need to put, I'm just going to put this over here right now as a space saver, so I remember to put that there. And then there we go. I'll close this and we'll add the toilet paper to the wall itself. Probably kind of like it right there. And we'll add some decor items around here too, you know, some like wall stuff, and we definitely need a mirror, right? Let's see if we can get that to work now. So I'm going to destroy that. Let's go down the wall decor and see what we can get to stick. I mean, I could get that guy in, and that would fit the sink pretty well. Let me see if I can squeeze the big one in there, because I do like the big one. Oh, lordy. No, that ain't gonna fit. Yeah, it looks pretty centered. Let's see how that looks. We'll bring it up just a touch. And yeah, and that matches about the same like width of this thing. I could have went with the round bullet mirror as well, if I can find it. But I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Let's see. So we really have 3 good mirrors in the game for this purpose. That's one. It's one you can get in game. Then you have the bullet mirror, and then the giant mirror. We might use the giant mirror elsewhere. Maybe the bedroom. Where is it? There it is. So that's the other mirror. And I could use that there. In fact, we might actually do that. Yeah. So then we'll look for some wall decor items that might go well here. Fill up the space. So this happens sometimes, right? This is a great one here. So you're like, I can't use my posters, Moon, because they keep sticking in the wall, and Bethesda's broken, or whatever you might say to that, right? So what I would say to you is switch out your wall, try a different wall, and that should fix it. So we're just going to look for one that might work. Let's start from up here. Let's see. And Bethesda could still be broken, right? Like, it may or may not work. But typically speaking, I can usually get this to work. Yeah, there. Oh, boo. I can usually get this to work by switching the wall out. And a worst case scenario, I can always double stack it, or try to. Some things just won't work that way. And that poster just sucks anyway. Nobody's using it. We might actually lose that poster for now. I can get it when I go on the other side of the bridge. Actually, I'm going to show you that real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, that is. I've been playing Fallout for over 6 years, obviously. Oh lordy, this glitch with the door thing is getting on my nerves. There we go. So yeah, I think I was showing somebody in the video earlier, like when I first started the stream, I have items that almost nobody has because like they came out in 2019 and they never rolled out again. And it can get frustrating, being like, oh, well, I can't do things like everybody else because I don't have the items. But that's why, like a couple months ago, I did make that tutorial on how to make a really cool custom camp with no Atom Shop items, and like from like not just from a decor standpoint, but the entire build was without them, right? So yeah, my goal for you, for anybody, would be to try and get those items, but like I'll share it again just because this is the one that usually stands out to me. It's kind of my pride and joy because most people don't have it. Oh, thank you. Please don't restart your builds on my behalf. Your builds, I'm sure, are amazing. I promise. This chair right here only came out in 2019 for 1 week, and it was never released again. So this is one that like I know a lot of people like really like because it fits if you have like a rustic home, like rustic but still like not scrappy, but more like cozy. That's a great chair for that. And like a lot of people don't have that. But that doesn't mean that you can't like do really cool things. It just means you got to get more custom with it, right? And come up with custom ideas. That's all that it means. So, but yeah, no, I get it though. Believe it or not, there are items that I don't own. One of the items that I just got this week that I did not have and I was like super crazy jelly for was this. I did not own that for like the longest of times, obviously, because it's in my new. So I was very thrilled to get that. And like I said, a lot of people had had that before me. Okay, so now we want to carry on. Oh, now we want to try and get in the bridge and get that poster. So I'm going to try and see if I can get it. So under the bridge is where I put my generator. I will still probably have to go under there a few more times. Let's see if I can't get that poster out from here. It's probably going to be something like that. And getting it out that way. Yep. And then switching the wall back to that. Cool. Alright, so we got that out. But yeah, typically speaking, if you're having problems with your, like, the posters aren't sticking to your walls, this bridge is right here. It's like close to Summersville. It's one of the entrances to Summersville. Here, let me get out so you can see. You got a lot of cool around here. So you got this. It starts Summersville like kind of over, really on that side, but you kind of get over it there too. But yeah, this is like one of those bridges that I like because you still have a lot of, it's in the forest area, so you still got a lot of like really nice green and colorful fauna around, and flora. So this is that spot. There we go. So anyways, able to recover that poster. Nope, not really a major issue. I'm just looking for a wall decor item. I already have the one in mind. I just have to kind of find it. And again, I separated myself off on some kind of crazy tangent. Where has my favorite picture for the bathrooms gone? I gotta remember to use that calendar. I like the way that calendar looks. There it is. I don't know why, it just feels like a bathroom item to me, so I use that in a lot of my items. Something else I want to do here too, like we want a little bit more lighting in here. We don't have any right now, so we're gonna have to come up with a couple of like small, easy solutions. One solution is, let me see how much room I've got. Actually, I'm gonna go back in there. I want to see how much room I have if I move this toilet over. Maybe that's a little too close. Other than my arrow being in the way, that's probably going to be the perfect spot for that. And I could have a little end table there with light if I wanted to kind of church that up a little bit, that area. Man, that's frustrating. And it's still there. So my arrows, they suck sometimes for this. Okay, cool. I was able to knock it out of the way, and now I can put my stuff kind of wherever I want it over here. I can move this toilet back, and now I've got like a little bit of a spot where I can have some decor. So we're gonna bring that back out. We're gonna find some nice things to put there to make it really pretty. "23 people watching. Thank you guys. This is my first live stream. I'm, haven't done one of these before, obviously, other than like with TNG, Silver Bunny, some of my friends. I've jumped on their live streams to help support them, but I've not done one on my own. So thank you for joining me. I am more of a morning person than a night person. So I like to start these usually when I wake up around 4:30. But I mean, I won't start at 4:30. That's just about when I wake up. So. Okay, so let's look for things in the bathroom. So I think some nice, maybe something like that looks really nice, right? I just said that and like so many people dropped out. They're like, wow, you've got way too many people in here, Moon. I'm out. Bye. So this kind of matches the dimensions of that table. So I think this will be a really good fit here. And just pop that on there. want it to be back a little further, though. Yeah, that's the thing, right? And somebody has told me before, like, oh, wow, you're so amazing. Which, by the way, you are more than welcome to tell me that all day long. I don't actually feel that way because, like, I know that there's other builders out there that are, like, equally or better, more amazing than I am. But don't get me wrong. I'm like, oh, no, stop it. Don't say any more about how great I am, right? Um, but like at the same time, like I'm also able to edit out those videos so well that it does make me look a lot better than I am. So we're all human, and so I still like make the same mistakes that other people do. I talk about it like, oh, don't do this. Like, be a pro builder, and don't make sure you don't do this because that's gonna really mess you up. The reason I know that it's gonna mess you up because it messes me up, right? So like real is real. Okay, so because I have this small space here, I'm going to have to do this number. I'm going to grab it from the outside and pull it in. There we go. And now I'm going to have a little lighting. Oh, yeah, those Christmas lights, they came out with, it is an Atom Shop item. They came out a while ago. Man, they're great. I will say I don't have it on this character, but what is also really great, and you can get it in game, is the Mothman lantern, because it does not require power. So it's not as small or as easy to hide. But like, for example, if you have that Mothman lantern and you're hiding it in something like, say, this right here, it fits perfectly in there. Or like in like the bigger planters, like the white concrete version of that, they hide well in that. So like it's bigger, harder to hide, but it's still very, very nice, and it's a good second runner up to that, to having those little miniature holiday lights. I love those lights. I uh, oh, love your work. Although I've been trying to build a cliff house and have some choice words. Oh yes, yeah. I gotta say, so I'd like to. This is a great segue for this. When I started doing tutorials, I thought that first of all nobody was gonna watch them. Um, I also realized that my builds are not typically for people who they're for more like intermediate to advanced. Um, so when I dropped my first couple of tutorials, I realized pretty quickly that I needed to start getting more and more detailed with things, or I needed to come up with tutorials that like supported what I was doing. Because if I didn't do those two things, or one of those two things, I was going to get absolutely eaten alive. Because I was getting a lot of people who are saying this isn't possible, I can't do it, right? And that's not their fault, that's my fault. So shame on me. That's why I've tried to do a really good job of going back and doing like backfill tutorials, like, hey, so here's how I do this thing, and just I really, yeah, I learned from that. That monorail build, and maybe I will maybe in a second I'll do like a stopping point here and we can go check out and I can kind of walk you through some of the other builds that I've done, and I can walk you through like some of the difficult pieces of them, because I know there's a couple people now that have mentioned the one on the cliff that has raised a little bit of hell for people. Let me do this one last thing though, and we'll go and I'll see if I can find which character that's on, because like I said, I have like a lot of camps. Okay, so real quick, I don't like the way that the seal looks, right? On this, when we have these doors or these walls like this. Like, it's not ugly, ugly, but like it could be way better, right? So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to turn this wall into the corroded wall, and this wall into the corroded wall, and I'm going to do the one above it into the corroded wall, okay? Because I think that's pretty ugly, and we want to make it look a little more custom. All right, so we knocked those three walls out. What that does is it makes them where you can walk through them. Those are really good. So what I will do is, some people would do the stairs post here, right? And the stairs post is fine. It's black versus white walls. If I was doing like a darker wall, I might use that. What I'm going to do instead is we're going to do this. And I might have to go up one. This works great for this. I can put this in here, and it looks like it's part of the support for the wall, or at least it's breaking up the wall. Meanwhile, it's actually covering up that stupid line. Yeah, so that's not going to go all the way up to it. But I might let that live there. So I've got it's like devil's advocate. I can either add a third one, right, and make it more like taller, and then merge it down into each other. But then what's going to happen is I'm going to see a little bit of flickering. Okay? Or I can leave it at that height. So let's see how that looks at that height and see how noticeable that will be. Because if it does look really bad, I'll risk the flickering of the merge. But oh, I hate that wall set for that purpose. I hate the line that it gives. That. And then, so I don't think it's that noticeable unless I'm looking for it. I might go back and fix it at a later time, but that gives you some perspective of a way that you don't have to necessarily use the stairs posts when you can use something else. Now, that's not the only post that we got. You can do this one as well, this dark one, if you've got, like, say, if you're using a wood finish. The only one, and you can use this guy too. The one that you can't use, and it's so ridiculous, is the clean white one. Notice it won't stack. I don't know why. Again, I don't get to design the physics behind these items. I just do with them what I can. But that is a great way to hide your corners when they come up like that without having to, because to be fair, like, everybody uses the stairs post to put in there because, you know, it does work pretty well, and it's like the easiest best method when you don't know that you could, you know, that there are other options. But this is a great option for hiding that corner. I won't do it on this side because otherwise I won't be able to get into this bedroom, right? But yeah, so we got the bathroom lit here. At least on that one side. I've got to add some lighting here. This might actually be the first time I add a light that's going to be a display light to this build, because I have this, because the support is right here for it. My favorite light in the game, as far as the hanging lights, is this light, and that's because of the lighting it gives is great. It's not like this all-encompassing light. It's literally focal light. Oh, that's a little too much, though. We can pull that back a little bit. Yeah, so that's going to be too bright because it's in such a small space. So here's an alternative idea. What we're going to do, like, I still need a lot of light in here, but I don't want it to be that obnoxious, is let's go to my lights again. And maybe I put something like that in the wall, right? And then that'll give me a fair amount of lighting. Maybe it's something like that. And that actually dims down, like, now that we're in it. Well, not really. So we can use one that's a even lower impact here. By the way, this is my other favorite wall light. I love that light. You'll see that in a lot of my builds. So maybe it's something like that. And that's a little bit dimmer. And it will be dimmer once... Oh, what's this thing again? once I repair that wall, there we go. It adds light, but it's not like obnoxious, right? So now I have lighting here, and I have a little bit of focal areas there, and then I can also like I'm not beyond decorating this space too. You just need really small decor items to do it. So if you have them, great. If not, you can always use like say chessboards and merge them down into your sink, and then get some items in that way. One of one of the things that I love to use in bathrooms specifically, if I can find them, because again we all have too many items. I've given Bethesda way too much of my money. Um, Hopefully they're not here listening to that. If they are, I love spending my money on you, Bethesda. Please continue to be awesome, right? Are these bottles, though, right? So I love these little bottles. They look like they could be cologne, perfume bottles, or I don't know, whatever. Oh yeah, don't think I'm not beyond selling out. For those of you who are wondering, I'm not by any way like I'm not the grassroots supporter of that. I will sell out immediately as soon as they start dumping money on me and I don't have to work anymore. That day will never come, though. Okay, so I feel like the bathroom is mostly done. I think the only thing left here probably is, again, looking at it from a perspective of somebody's house, is I'd probably put like a mat in front of that sink. If I had a bathtub in here, I'd probably put the mat in front of the bathtub. But because of the small profile of this, I can actually do it inside of this a little bit. And then it doesn't seem like it's like the same old mat everywhere else. And then I can just repair it. And then bam. And now I've got a little mat there. And I feel like the bathroom is basically done at this point. I could do something on this wall, but I really don't want to because it's a feature wall, right? I have that brick or that stone work there. We might do a feature wall in here too. I just can't do it on this wall because this wall extends over into the bathroom wall. So it would literally be half of that wall would poke out with the new wallpaper. So if I did a feature wall in here, it'd have to be this wall here, which I could do. We could see what that looks like. Pick one. Maybe it's also the stone. That might be fine because then you have stone wall on both sides potentially. I don't know. Something to play with. We got a little bit of more decorating to do in this room. Probably add some like small wall pictures. Honestly, the lion's share of this build is basically done. I know I've taken a little bit longer than I thought I would for this, but we'll have a lot of outside decor stuff we can knock out. Let's go up to pictures. We'll get something cute in here. Oh, I wish that one would fit. That cat has a cute face. I'm not too manly to admit that I'm an absolute animal lover. So like, I'm all about if I can squeeze an animal picture into place, I will. But it doesn't look like one is going to make sense for the theme of this room. That blue frame on that is kind of hideous. So we'll make do with this guy right here. And for funsies, right? Because I think that there's a dark spot there, right? So this would be one because of how like dark the room is. I could add a light here and probably be completely fine. And then I can just go out here, repair all. There. Let's see how that looks. Oh, God. That's way too bright. So probably not that light. I'll wait for the stuff to disappear. There we go. So let's see. Is that any better? That's way better. Okay. Yeah, so now we've got a little bit of accent light with that picture. I don't think that looks bad. Um, and we could probably do something over on this wall too. But I'd probably do something a little different on this wall, maybe something a little thinner. Because I don't want it to like totally take up that space. So I'd probably, maybe something like that, but I actually want to go thinner than that. I'll go down to my posters, if I can find them. I think it's under here. Yeah. So we're going to try this again. Let's change up the wall type. Oh, curses. Curse you. There we go. I found it. So there are walls that I can go ahead and switch this to. Like, so I'm going to switch this to the metal wall. And then I don't want it to be the metal wall, so I can just switch it back. So I was talking about this earlier with another picture I was trying to put somewhere. So if for some reason you can't get your pictures to fit because they're going into the wall, use a wall like the metal wall, which comes, you can get that in game. And then put the wallpaper on, add your wall item, and then switch it to whatever wall you want, and then you'll be fine. It won't sink into the wall anymore. Cool. All right, so we still have this space here to kind of decorate. I don't know how I want to make this living room work because I've got basically a very small amount of space that I could use. Um, let's close this for now. This might be a job for the modular sofas because they are kind of narrow. Let's just see how that looks. All right. Fine, whatever. Let's see if I can get it to work all the way across that way. Nope. It's trying to go into the... It's off center. Okay. So it probably won't end up looking like this because, I mean, having your living room kitchen right here with your, it's like living, like, is really obnoxious. So what we might do is it might end up being something, I mean, maybe we remove this and we put a sitting area back there. I mean, it's kind of tight, but this is where we have to get a little creative, because, I mean, that's like an obnoxious use of space. Um, so... see what other options we have here. I mean, I'm not beyond, since the door opens this way, I'm not beyond putting a couch here or chairs and then maybe an end table in the middle. Just see how that would look. I could see a world where that would actually make sense, but let's see what else. I mean, I really don't have a lot of other options, right? So, I want this couch to kind of connect, but obviously I need to fill that space too, right? So what do we do? What I would do is we're going to destroy one of these, and then snap that through. And as long as I line it up slightly better, I actually have a good working sofa situation here that I can use. Just got to line it up slightly better than what I had it. Maybe a little bit more forward with that couch. Or I push the other one back some. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's the angle of this other one that I need to fix, so we'll do that. And it's never going to be absolutely perfect because like the little nuances inside of the furniture, but that actually turned out okay. One catch with this though is I feel like that there's not enough rug action on this floor. That's like a lot of vacant space there. So I'm gonna see what we can do about that. I should be allowed to pick my arrows back up. I'm just saying, Bethesda, if you are here, like that should be a thing. Just throwing it out there. You can do it in the other games. All right, floor decor. So this might work as a good option because then we have not only a rug, but we also have a rug walking into the house, like kind of like a floor mat kind of situation, right? But I do think it's a little too big for the space. So what we might do is maybe something a little closer to like the small daisy rug, because I don't think that takes up too much space, but that's a little too small. Let's take a look. What are my other options here? Right? I agree. Maybe there's something better that I'm just missing here. All the rugs are so big. Okay, so again, any port in a storm, right? So what we can do with this space, honestly, is I could match this rug over here by layering these out. So make sure it's about the right distance from all sides. That looks about right. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I don't see why they couldn't do it. I mean, they probably have a better reason than I do. Like it's weird. I've noticed that some of the things in this game have like this butterfly effect. Like, oh hey, we fixed an issue where Turkish wasn't using certain dialogue correctly, but then they fixed that, and then all of a sudden, like everybody loses gravity, or like some obnoxious thing happens. Like the raid breaks and like the raid boss like dies immediately upon entering. So I don't know. I just don't know how they wrote the code here. Um, yeah, so I think if I actually I think that lines up pretty well. I think it's just the way that floor looks right there, but I think that this could work as my rug walking in. Probably want to break up that line a little bit more, which I could do. Probably, maybe. Yeah, I could break up that line, and then I think we've got a good solution here. Yeah, and I'll have to church up that space too. We'll add some picture up above it, so and then at least we have a living room. And then what we can do with this space is we could actually have like a nice dining room on the side. So I think this is really coming together, guys. I do not have my own Discord server. There's a couple of reasons for that. I want to say that the main reason is actually because like between work and building, I don't have enough time in my life to manage that. And my work does take a lot out of me. I do a lot of traveling. And if you've noticed, I still have a video out at least once a week. So I still get the videos out and still have to figure out what to build or make a tutorial of, and then also do my day job. So I think the Discord would be too much to add to that to manage. The other piece to that too, I don't like drama. Um, I'm a grown ass man, and I avoid a lot of that drama. I joined my friends' discords, so like if you wanted to see me at like if you I do have a Discord account, You know, you can catch me in Moonlight Cowboy, but just not the server. But if you're in like TNG's Discord or Fargassier's or uh, Crash Apocalypse or Buddha Two Dopes or even my good friends, the Gamer Aviators. I'm in all of their discords. Lucy Jane's another one. So like you can always catch me in there, and I'm in those chats. I see them frequently. Just name drop me, you know, like at me, and then I can come running, be like, I'm here. Look, it's moonlight. What can I do for you? All right, so we're gonna find something to decorate the above part of this couch with. You know what? I think that's a nice size picture for this space. It doesn't take up too much real estate. I like it. Okay. So, and we're on the water anyway. So now, just like with the other ones, we're just going to create some backlighting for it. We're going to use our old friend, that, and that. And then I'm going to open the door and we're going to repair all, and I should have some nice backlighting here now. And I do. Cool. So now it's not just a dark vacant space, right? And then I can also, right, because I think the couch is still a little dark, I can do a couple of things with this too. Actually, I'll do that right now. I can add some of these lights down here, so that way it doesn't seem so dark, kind of like I did over on underneath the cabinets there. I just don't want them to poke out where you can see them through the feet. So I kind of hide them sometimes in the feet too, so that way it doesn't, there. And yeah, now that looks a little like backlit, and I think that's a nice effect. So now we have one more main space in the house besides some like, you know, cosmetic stuff. Yeah, I wish they did too. I wish you could adjust them. Yeah, those bright lights. It is hard to find lighting that doesn't flood your whole camp. Um, and I think I know I've done a whole video on lighting. I think that you could easily go wrong with your lighting, even with a beautiful camp, because you could flood it out and then nothing is seen because all you see is just like the light rays of God coming down, or the opposite problem, it's too dark and nobody sees anything anyway. Okay, so that picture is not centered. So I'm using this picture. This picture is going to kind of be my guide for my kitchen. And we're going to backlight this too. And for this one, I want a lot of light here, so I'm going to do this a couple of lights, because this is going to be like the focal point of the house, I feel like. Yes, I did. I have done the tutorial on that. I have two different tutorials for, well, it's actually the same tutorial, but I have two different methods for doing large screen TVs. And also, I think in my beginner's guide, I also made a tutorial for it as well. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is just like I've done before. The nice thing sometimes about using these mats is that they do match. Also, don't mind the fact that you see raindrops. Those are actually my tears for all of the mishaps that have happened on today's stream. Yeah, no worries, mate. So the reason I put down those mats is because I'm actually going to have table there too. So my favorite kitchen table in these small builds is going back to the Kwanzaa set. The Kwanzaa set has a beautiful tiny little table that we can use. It's very basic, but it fits so well just about anywhere. There we go. Right? So it's out of the way, but because of how small it's like big enough that you can still fit chairs under it, but it's small enough that like you can get by it no problem. So then from here, I'm going to destroy this table. Oh, of course it didn't destroy on the first try. F you. All right. And then I'm going to find some chairs that aren't going to necessarily like interfere with the, like it's not going to overtake the view of the table. So I think they're actually up here. Nope. Hmm. I will find you. Chairs. Oh, they're over here. Yeah, right. I see the raindrops there because it's raining outside. There's raindrops in here. I could also be losing my mind. I mean, I'm not beyond that. I'll be the first to admit it. It's been a week, um, but the nice thing is that I am now on PTO or vacation, as you would call it. So that part is really nice. Um, so what I'm going to do here, I could just put them straight in, but I'm actually going to pull them out a little bit. I think that's going to add just a touch of like a little extra, right? As they say. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. So I'm going to pull them out a little bit. I just want to make sure they're about the same. Cool. Now I have chairs. Now we just got to church up that table, and I know exactly what we're going to do for that. Uh, all right. We're going to do a few things. Again, highly recommend this Kwanzaa set. If you don't have this, you can always chessboard it with some of the ramen noodles or like the noodle bowls and stuff. Thank you guys. Thank you. I'm glad you like my lighting. And honestly, so I don't. How do I put this? Waiting in waiting is one. Oh yes, it is mine too because I worked in restaurants for a very long time. 30 almost 30 years. I'm old. Um, but I don't talk about it very much. But Silver Bunny was one that I spent a lot of time working with on her builds initially versus the way they were to where they are now. What's cool is first of all she's an amazing builder and there's no doubt about it. She you can point out her style out of a crowd, which I think that's when you really come down to like how good a builder is. You can that's when you can say they're awesome because you can usually point them out or you have a good idea that that's them that built it. Anyhow, with that said, she wasn't. We're never always that way. We don't start out being amazing unless you're Alex P. His like by build 3 he got like number 1 in the top 5, which good for him, but also like the rest of us who took forever is like, oh, we suck. Um, but yeah, Bunny didn't always used to be like that. And then what was cool is like, I worked with her on what I did and she's like, oh, that's really cool. And then turned it into like her beautiful, colorful lighting. And I'm more of a I'm like, I only like white lights on the Christmas tree kind of guy. Whereas she obviously likes all of the light colors. But that's the thing, right? Different strokes for different folks. Oh, while I'm on this clock, I'm going to go ahead and put this on this desk over here because I feel like we need that. Okay, cool. Um, okay, so back to what I was doing. So we're decorating this table. Notice I lit up those Kwanzaa fruit plates. And then I'm looking for something else. Now, this is an item that also is in an atomic shop, but also there's a very similar item that we got from an event, like a game, like, I don't know, one of their smaller, like, week or 2 week events, but it's these flower pots. So the flower bouquets, they have another one that you can make, and I don't know if that's still acquirable anymore, but it was also very cool. And so if you don't have this one, you might have that, where you just have to go and get the flowers. I'm just making sure that this light is centered. Yeah, close enough. So that can be the table, but we're actually even going to take it one step further, because we have so much budget. I mean, I've built this whole camp right now, and what I would say, we're like 60-70% decorated inside at the the least case scenario. Like, I think we're well more than that, but I haven't even used half my budget, right? So that means we're gonna have a lot of wiggle room. So like, I want to decorate this to the nines. So we're going back under floor decor, and actually, you know what? We're gonna go back to miscellaneous structures. Now I could have used a mat for this up here too, but instead, what I'm gonna do is I am gonna actually use this the Kwanzaa table mat for the Kwanzaa table, because it breaks it up, and it looks, it looks nice. I've also, used it for doormat too, for what that's worth. Yeah. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that's looking like something, right? And I could go so far too and again, you could, if you don't have the cups to do this, some of these, like, you have to think outside the box. Like, you might not have like the Kwanzaa set, but you probably have chessboards, or you have somebody that has chessboards that can drop them for you. So in the event that you don't have these cups, they have some really great cups out there that you could use and make your own fun table. But I'm taking the easy way out, and there we go. I think I have that backwards. Always praising the Blue Ridge building kit for angled walls to half walls. Is there any alternatives to that? No, there is not currently. There used to be. So, I love going on these tangents. So, it used to be that it was the Fort Fortress walls and the Blue Ridge set. And I made a tutorial with both of them with that in mind. Like, oh, wow, okay, the Fort Fortress does this too. The catch with that is they took away the Fort Fortress one. So we do not have that as an option anymore. So if you see the Blue Ridge set, again, get it. It's come back around already once, but there is not currently an alternative to the Blue Ridge set. I wish there was, otherwise I'd be the first one to champion that. At least that I'm aware of. Maybe somebody else has one, but I haven't seen anybody else come out with one, or else I'd be like, hey, also check out this dude's video. They found it. They found the answer that I don't have. All right, so I still feel like there's some. Oh God. Oh, shut up. Your mother dresses you funny. Okay. So I still feel like there's some vacancy in here, which we can fill up with some plants. Recents. And again, if you don't have, if you don't have these guys right here, you probably have these guys right here, and they can also work for this. I like these obviously better because they're a little bit more. Oh.
More ratted.
What a. I don't. Anyways. And we're back. So, I like these because they're a little bit more narrow, and they don't branch out so far. But like, I could easily do something like this here and fill up that space. Yeah, I know. I really hope that they come back with it, or they make it an option in the Bethesda store. They might be. I just nobody has told me they've seen them in there. I guess I could go check and look myself to see if it's in the Bethesda store. Anyhow, yeah, sorry about that. I wish there was another option. I really do. But, and usually if you follow my channel, or like if you see me out in Discord, I usually send out like mass messages like, this item just came back, go get it. Or like, for instance, when those utility, before they made those utility generators where you could just get them anytime, we had to wait for them to come back for a while, and people had missed out on them, and like they came back one time, and I was like, everybody go get this right now. So look out for me saying that. I also will occasionally do that in like my community cat chat. Somebody is trying to get me to join a team. Am I on a public server? I thought I was on a private server. Is that one of you guys? Well, anyway, I do not have my own Discord. If you want to find me, you can find me on TNG's Discord. The ones that I'm on more often than anything, TNG's Buddha2 Dope has a Discord, and I can link those in the chat later for those coming back to watch it. I'll link those, like the chat or the description. So some of the ones that I'm in, and I'm in there regularly. Like I go in multiple times a day, so you can always go check me out there. I also like Moonlight Cowboy Gaming at gmail.com is another way if you want to reach out to me directly for questions, or of course through leaving a comment. I make it a point to respond to all of my comments, even if they're bad, even if somebody's like, we don't like you and you're ugly. I will still like thank you for the feedback. Yeah, this is coming out pretty nice, right? Now, I started on this morning. Like I've been live streaming this for the whole time, and it did come out pretty nice so far. Minus I have some dead friends here, but if we remove those guys out of the equation, oh, they're not even gonna move, of course. The joys of building somewhere where there's a lot of enemies. All right. This camp does need a cat. We will get this camp a cat. I am a cat lover. Don't say you doubt it. Like honestly, like nothing I'm doing here like is super like crazy technical. I even put up these walls. These walls right here I did without catwalks or any fancy glitching. Like I was able to get all the walls except for these middle ones out. Hey, how's it going? I'm doing a live stream right now, so you'll have to excuse me. My bad. Um, but yeah, you were able to. I was able to get these up without having to use anything fancy, right? So it's just getting to know the tricks to building more than anything. Like I probably could have gotten these walls up. I got lazy with it. I could have gotten these walls up right here, just like I did these. See how they overlap like that? Um, I could have done the same thing in here too, no problem. So in all honesty, even though like I have the Blue Ridge set and I did use it in this spot, I could have done it differently, right? So stream type. No, honestly, I have a lot of friends, and I treat everybody the same, whether or not they're also a YouTuber or whether or not they're a builder, or even if they don't know anything about building. And just like I add basically everybody on PlayStation that wants to be my friend, even if I don't know who they are, because I feel like a friend is just sometimes somebody you haven't met yet. So like maybe they know me, maybe they don't, maybe they just want to hang out. So I never quite look at it that way. I guess that's me though. Um, all right, so we can do a few things now. I feel like the inside like is mostly done. I mean, I'm gonna do a little bit more here at some point, probably on top of there. But I think the kitchen is good. I could probably add a couple of lit up stuffies here. Um, And I definitely need to do something with that wall there, probably a piece of art that also has some lighting. But I think for the most part, this whole area is probably done. Let's take a look at the outside for a minute because I know we've spent a lot of time on the inside, and let's see how what we can do to kind of pizzazz this. The first thing I want to look at is like how we're going to like segregate this in. Do I ever review? Hold on one second. I have to. Sometimes I miss these so fast. Um, Let me catch up in chat real quick. Do I ever review other players' builds? Yes, I do. So if somebody wants, so there's two ways that I do this. The first way is if somebody doesn't know me and they just want me to go check out their build. I will never say anything mean about somebody's build if they're looking for just me to look at it, right? Now, there is a flip side to this. I have had people say, "Hey, Moon, I want you to come check out my build and critique it for me and tell me what I'm doing right or wrong or what your thoughts are." And then that's a different conversation. So usually what I do is I do what's called the Oreo cookie method. The Oreo cookie method is I start with a positive, I end with a positive, and then in between are like the things that need to be worked on. So a perfect example of this, and I'm only saying this because they're friends of mine. Um, the Akiras, when I first met the Akiras, they were already really great builders, uh, and they had some really great ideas. But one thing that they didn't have in place at that moment was the lighting. There were some dark zones. So I was like, "Hey, I think your build looks amazing. This is a really great concept. I think you should go with this. I think that like there's too many dark spots in certain areas." And it was a very minor way to look at things. Like it wasn't like their build looked amazing. They just like, and like I told them in that case, I'm like, you don't get credit for decor you can't see or decor that's flooded out. So in that particular case, they were looking for like negatives or me to pick it apart because what happens a lot of times in the building community is that people will be like, "Oh yeah, this looks amazing. Oh yeah, this looks amazing," and then like they go to try and put it up in the top five, right, or like a competition, and then they never make it. So nobody's actually giving them real feedback. So if somebody's looking for that kind of feedback, I have no problem giving it to them, but I don't give it to them like blindly or like I will give it to them if they ask for it. Otherwise, I just tell them, "Oh yeah, this looks really great. I see what you're going with this. Thanks for showing me," kind of thing. And honestly, I'm not just placating them. I do like to see what other people's creativity is. It's just there's a difference between building to build and building to compete or building to be like in the elite tier, right? But that doesn't mean other people's builds are bad. Let me get caught up. Oh, sorry. Get caught up on chat again. 1 second. So anyways, that was a long-winded way to say yes, I do review people's builds. And yeah, you never know when somebody might need a friend. I won't go into details on this because it's personal. I met a person on Christmas Eve that was going through a really hard time from former military that had lost one of his military buddies and were his best friend. And I never talked to him before. And then he wanted to show me camps of his builder buddy that wasn't with him anymore. And like they were from many years ago, so they didn't look like they would look now. Plus, that person wasn't a pro builder. I spent 3 hours with that person just kind of like, "Oh wow, I could definitely see what he was going with here. Man, you must really miss him." And I never spoke to that person again after that. But I spent 3 hours with him on Christmas Eve going into Christmas Day talking to him about things because sometimes people do need that person. And I don't think that like Moonlight Cowboy means a whole lot of anything. I think being a good person means a lot more than being like, "Oh, I'm at the pinnacle of my game." That doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot. But yeah, you definitely meet a lot of characters in the community. Good people, some very few bad people compared to other communities, but they're out there. And then Sean asked, I do work with TNG. Yes, I do. TNG is a nut job. I love the dude. We're friends. TNG and I are friends. Silver Buddy and I are friends. I have a lot of friends in this game. I mean, we're not like we don't call each other in text and be like, "Hey, I'm wearing green today. Are you wearing green today?" Yeah, let's be green buddies. We're not like that or anything, but like we definitely have an open line of communication. We've done live streams together. We're good friends. What would I consider my top 5 blueprints? Oh man. Okay. Well, every character has different blueprints, right? So I would say the top 5 would be. Yeah, I'd have no problem giving you my opinions of them. If you're on PlayStation, feel free to add me. If you're not, send me some like some pictures or like links to like your videos, and I'll definitely check them out. Okay, so starting with number, I don't think they're actually in any particular order. I think the catwalk blueprints are my favorite, especially like ones like this where I could just have one free place catwalk because there's so much you can do with that. Like you can add walls to catwalks and then, obviously get rid of the. So when people are like, "Oh, I wish you could just start putting walls in the sky," I mean, you kind of can. You just have to go a few steps for it. So that's one of my favorites. Let me see. They might not all be on this character, FYI. This one, the door blueprint, is one of my favorites. So being able to, oh, I can't do it on that surface. Let me do it here. So this one, obviously, because, from here, right, I could put a door anywhere, and it could be any kind of door. Like, it could even be, like, an obnoxious one, like that, or, like, that monstrosity. Now, most people would say, I would never use this door for anything, right? This door does something cool that very few things in the game does. And the Akira has made a video about this that are awesome, because it's one of those few doors that also work as an elevator. So they made an elevator out of that door by merging it down in the ground, right? So not many items in the game will let you do that. So I don't use resource generators unless they're decor items. I don't use them. I also don't use workshop items like crafting really outside of maybe the kitchen one, like a cooking station. The reason for that is A, they take up more budget, and B, most of what I need I can get down here. Like any crafting I do, I can go to Nuka World on tour, right? If you need resource, and like say in a budget or a build like this, you need a place where you can go do your resources, but they're hideous, right? Most of them look bad. What you could do in a situation like this where you still want them is you could just have a secret entrance that nobody else knows about, and then you can build them inside of like say in here, right? And then nobody can touch your resources. You could even probably get. I mean, I know you can get inside of that hill too. So you could do something like that. So that way, like they're not out in the open for people to look at. Because like honestly, unless you found a really cool way to implement it in the build via a merge, they're usually kind of like ugly, right? So yeah, that would be my thing. Yeah, just hide them. Um, And like I said, like with a build like this, right? Like look at my budget right now. I'm not even a half budget, and I'm already on the outside. Like yeah, I've got a few decor things I need to do on the inside, but like I'm already gonna struggle with how I'm gonna get this thing built out. And because one of my rules, this is a personal rule. This isn't one that I'm holding you guys accountable to. Is I feel it's important to use all of your budget because there's something or some things that can be done, whether it be lighting, whether it be more plants on the outside. There is something that you can do to fill up your budget. So every single one of my camps, out of like now getting over 200 camps, have used up all of their budget, and they have all had like all of the right lighting. They have all of the key things, but like I make sure that all of the budget is used. Otherwise, I don't consider that camp to be completed. Anyhow, off of that soapbox. All right, so now we've got to look at how we want to decorate this porch. Now, it integrated into this bridge pretty nicely. I could even look at doing like a wallpaper that's more concrete, like thinking of building a resource camp like Angry Turtle has and using it in my other camps. Yeah, people do that too. So they'll make the resource camps, and then they just turn it on when they need stuff. You could totally do that. So one of the nice things about having all of the camp slots that we have is that you do have some autonomy where we didn't have that before. Whoops. And that actually looks a little better. Um, so you could absolutely look into doing something like that. I mean, right now, let's see. So I told everybody that I have 50 camps. So minus the one I'm working on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 camps on just this character, and I have 5 characters. So no reason that one on each character can't be a resource camp. And like if you buy all the camp slots, you could have 9 other camps. Like you could probably make that work. Now me, I could never do that because I would always be like, but that camp could have been the most beautiful camp, and I didn't do anything about it. Back to blueprints real quick, sorry. I would say this blueprint is probably another one. Um, Again, going back to catwalks, but the reason why I like this blueprint a lot is because this is the one that I can make a TV out of. Except with that wall, because that would be stupid. So, and then I could just change the wallpaper on it, and I can put that anywhere to make it a TV, right? Where is the one that I like to use? Like this is one that I like to use for like a wallpaper for a TV, or where's my favorite one? There it is. That one, I like to use that one a lot for a TV. It looks kind of like it could be a TV like screensaver and stuff. Or like you just say screw it, and you could turn the TV off, right? And then you don't, and then the TV's off and it's just black. So that would be another favorite one. Um, I don't have a lot of blueprints on this character, honestly. I got a roundy boy that I share with people. Stairs post blueprint is a must-have. Um, so I would say that that's one. I've done a lot of tutorials on the stairs post blueprints, but yeah, I love that one. Now, people ask me, they're like, why don't you use the duck, right? The reason I don't use the duck and I use the mochi is because the mochi has a perfectly flat surface. So sometimes if you do the blueprint right, you can line it up easier than if you use the duck. That's the only reason. What else? I do like this wall blueprints, right? This is the other TV blueprint, and I like that. And this is also like the Kwanzaa thing that I use for counters as well. So if I need a TV somewhere, that's probably my clutch move. And then from there, I would say this would be one. Now I do have them on other characters, so there's probably a couple that I'm missing. But I like this one because it's double wall. It's the only one that I've seen that's a double wall blueprint like that. And I have it wallpapered so that way if I'm ever doing 2 of them, I can line them up really well so that way I don't see any lines in the wallpaper, right? So like that. And like I still messed it up a bit, but this way I can get it perfect with the wallpaper without having to do it a million times. So those would be the 5. And honestly, so Aussie Kitty Cat was the one that came out with the Vine blueprint initially, and I think that I jumped out and came out with the double wall Vine blueprint. But either way, I give all credit to Aussie Kitty Cat for that because I would have never thought at that time to do that. Okay, so let's get a little bit more wall treatment in here. Wall decor. That's going to be too big. That is going to be just right. Oh, that's perfect. That's a great use of space. So then I just want to get that backlit. And all I'm going to do is add just a couple more of these. Where are they? There we go. And then going to, I don't know what I did with my camp device. Oh, there it is. Now I've got backlighting there. Now normally on a picture like this, I would do, oh, last blueprint reminds me I need to go buy vines. Yes, Thank you, thank you. Yeah, go buy the Vine blueprints. No matter what, they're amazing. Even if you don't use them for the blueprint, they're just a really good piece of to have. I would normally put something here, like a little table or something to decor. I worry about the space of being able to go back there because of the hallway. It might look too cluttered. So I'm probably going to leave that as is. There is a couple other things I can do though. So we talk about resources, and I say most resource stuff looks ugly. There are a couple that I do fit into my builds quite often. This guy is one of them, because he can also hide a little bit of lighting for me, because usually on top of the refrigerator is a little dark, and everybody loves a cookie jar on top of the refrigerator. This is going to sound like a plug for Bethesda, so please don't think that I've completely sold out. But, like, I'm one that buys everything when it comes out because you never know when you're going to use it. The vines were one of them. I wanted them no matter what. But, like, here's a good example. I did not want the corroded concrete walls at all. I was like, I'm never going to use these, but I bought them anyway just in case. And they turned out to be amazing for building, right? So for what it's worth, for I should say for those that are looking to get into more elite camp building, think about buying everything that comes out and giving Bethesda your money. Otherwise, what'll happen, or wait for a review on that item. Usually, not to plug another builder. Oh no, you're fine. No problem. You're good, man. Sorry, I would have. I was like, sorry, I'm streaming. I didn't want to interrupt the stream necessarily. Um, but like not to like plug another builder, but I will say like Mr. Church does come out with item reviews quite regularly, so he would be one to look at. I don't focus on that stuff. I'm more focused on just the building side of it or how to do like the building tricks. So if you need somebody to give you a review on an item, there's plenty of places. You know who else is really good at that too is the Gamer Aviators. I love their channel a lot. They're actually good friends of mine, and they're one of my favorites. I mean, it's hard to say because I have a lot of really good friends. Like Far Gassier is a really good friend of mine. TNG is a really good friend of mine. Lucy Jane is a really good friend of mine. We talk, almost weekly. But yeah, waiting for Church to review something before I diet. Yeah, I don't blame you. He does, and again, he does a really good job at that stuff. No doubt. I do want to add some backlighting here. I think that this zone back here is too dark where I put that built in, so I'm going to look at stacking some lighting. Since I have so much budget, I can just do a whole bunch of crazy. Oh yeah, Gamer Aviator. They're so cool. They're just genuinely nice people, man. I've known them, I think, pretty much since they started their channel or close to it. I met them when they initially started doing the top. Believe it or not, they entered the top 5 before, right? Most people don't know that, and I think they placed. So with that said, that's how I met them, and they were still kind of small. Now they've blown up because they're so good and they're so clever. Anyways, yeah, I don't have enough good things in the world to say about them. All right, so that added a little bit more lighting in that zone for me, as you can see. So that's good, because I was feeling that was a little too dark. All right, I feel like for the most part, the inside is done. A Tommy video. So now we can focus on the outside. So a few things. Let's go through floor decor. Again, this character is one that like I didn't get every last little thing for, so I'm sure I'm missing some things for this guy. Like I really like those that flower log looking thing. It looks kind of like it may be like a canoe, but it has flowers in it. It's really pretty, and I probably don't have it on this character. I know it's up here somewhere, so I'll go a little bit. If I don't see it, then it is what it is. I'm not super worried because every plan should have a backup plan. Right now, my backup plan are probably the roses because those are also really nice. But I was hoping to get that log because it's thinner. Alternative idea though. So, well, it won't work here. I was gonna say we could put like a windowsill planter, but that wouldn't work for that. All right, let's see. This is something we can use. Let me put my floor back out because I need like a merge area. So this is something I like, especially with a build like this, because it's going to end up being on the cozy side. Let's do floor, and then we're going to go down. Yeah, I never did see that log, so I probably don't have it. Oh, I do. It's right there. What? Score. That's what I was talking about. You guys are like, what is that crazy person talking about? So, anyways, let's work on one thing at a time. So on the edges here or somewhere, I want to incorporate these barrels. So what we will do is I have these planters here, and I'm going to want a little bit more light than what the holiday lampposts give me. So I'm probably going to get something. Where's one of the table lights? There we go. Probably do something like that in here. That's going to be wicked bright. So maybe something like that. Center it. Oh, that won't work. That's too tall. Let's try something else. That will. Alright. So we'll merge these guys down in here. Actually, that's a little off center. Let's try that again. I'll do it from the back. I keep grabbing it. I know that's probably everybody else's pet peeve too, but when I grab something out of a merge, it really irritates the crap out of me. Oh, that worked out perfectly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and line this up. Put that away for now. I'm going to see how it spins. Spin the wheel. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, and to be fair, to your point, there are times that I go through and I'm like, you know, going through my build menu, like, what am I going to create, right? And then I forget what I had. And I'm, you know, once you get a lot of stuff, like everybody gets that in that mode, like, oh my God, I forgot that I even had this. When did I buy this, right? That's one of those perfect examples, because I wouldn't use this in a lot of examples there, but I think the light poking out there isn't bad. I think I'm fine with that, honestly. But if I really wanted to be like persnickety about it, I could actually just, you know, have the where it was the mushroom, kind of like that, you know, maybe, or something along those lines. Actually, that doesn't look bad either, right? I could probably just do that and maybe fix the other one. Yeah, I kind of like the mushrooms out like that. I think you guys would agree. I don't know. Mushrooms out or mushrooms in? First one gets it. This is mushrooms in. This is mushrooms out. Which one should I go with? Out. Heard. Got it. Good call. Now, one of these days when I submit this camp to the top 5, if the reason I don't make it is because the mushrooms were out, I'm coming for all of you. Just kidding. Yeah, I agree. I think they actually do look better out. There's still a little wobble there, but it's pretty close. I think it's probably good enough. Oh, that's way too far in the barrel. One more. All right. Oh God. Oh God. I don't think they. I think that would be bad. Yeah, if I said that. Well, yeah, this is really coming together. Let's see what it looks like on the other side because we still have work to do over here, even though it's like kind of basic looking, right? I still want to add some fun over there. Let's take a look at what we can do over there. When I get to this stage in the build, I start looking around like the whole camp to see where my gaps are at, like where like I don't want to ignore any parts of it. Over here. So first thing, I feel like that this area needs probably some kind of fencing or something like that to dirty mind is with me and my wife, like we have very colorful conversations. Like I, so let me put it this way: at work, I'm more or less an angel. I do say a lot of dad jokes on stream or in game. I'm a little bit more relaxed. With my wife, it's like all out. Like I say some of the worst things possible. I'd probably be like demonetized for some of the things that I say. I can have an off-color sense of humor. So, all right. So now we're gonna go to defenses. I'm just gonna look and see what looks good. Obviously, it won't be that, right? Um, Not the barbed wire. Mm, well, doesn't that suck? Those aren't gonna work. Okay. Yeah, you're not wrong. That doesn't look terrible. I think I can do better than that, but this plant over here is going to be the bane of my existence. I can tell this vine right here is going to probably try and get in my way of all of my happiness. Let me see if there's anything else that jumps out at me. Well, there is those. I love these ones. I don't know about you guys, but those ones are are like the bee's knees. Yeah, see that? Oh, see, it won't let me place in water. That's. Let me try it. Oh, of course not. You're a jerk. So that doesn't look bad. I think it'll depend on what I have going on over here in the world of plants, but this is a great segue to try and now I have an idea of which one of a couple that I'm going to go with. This will be a great segue to do the next thing I wanted to do, which is these guys. I'm gonna do a few of these, and I'm just gonna add like 3 of these miniature holiday maybe 4. I've got plenty of budget, right? I could just do whatever. This isn't like one of the builds where I'm like, oh god, how am I gonna? That's like one too many. How am I gonna like get everything to work on it? This isn't that build. This is like I've got more budget than I know what to do with, so I could do stupid stuff like this, and then just merge them down. Cool. And that should be about the perfect width for this. Yeah, look at that. That's money. I could even stick it out a little bit. So, uh, oh, thank you with the Helvetia one. Yes, the Helvetia camp is I that one really came together. I got real lucky with that. Um, I was surprised I was like the first one to do something like that to that extent. So somebody just asked about the new planters. I'm really bad at doing the events. I have not yet gotten any of them. I planned on doing that. I'm on vacation, so I plan on doing that like over the next week, getting them. Um, but yeah, no, I'm really bad at that stuff. Probably gonna need one more of those if I want to cover that entire expanse. I will say, first of all, thank you for that. I have kind of two schools of thought when it comes to people giving me stuff. Usually, what happens is like I have like okay, the Akiras are a good example. They have, and so is Silver Bunny. They have like if I don't have something, like they we go above and beyond to help each other out to give each other plans of stuff that we don't have. But I'm also one that doesn't like to just take stuff for free either. So I usually try and trade for it because I have so many materials on some of my characters. I think there's one character that has like a 500,000 steel or something like that. So like I'll trade out stuff if they need building materials, right? And then they'll give me the plans, and then I can do all the cool things with the plans and be part of the cool kid club. That's weird. The UK is calling me. Hmm. I want to be part of the cool kids too. When does that happen? All right. I'm going to go with these for now, and we're going to hit repair all, and we'll just see what it looks like. Yeah, that's kind of how it is for me too. Yeah, see, that doesn't look bad. I kind of dig that. Um, I have a lot of acquaintances and I have several friends, but like you know how it goes, right? And so, but with my friends, we help each other out all the time, and most of them actually almost every one of my friends in the game are also builders, right? So we all go through the struggle. Yeah, that does not look bad. I could probably pepper in some of this spot too, with like where we're missing those gaps right there, with probably some of where are they? Some of those maybe. Just see how that looks. Yeah, like I could do something like that, and then that will elevate my plant game. And for these, I'll just drop these guys in right here, like so. So if you guys can't tell, I go through a lot of those miniature holiday lampposts on these smaller camps. I have deleted camps where I've had over 100 of them. So just as a heads up, like they're possibly my favorite item in the game. Yeah, I think that those plants right there, they're not floating at all, and they break up that monotony a lot. I think that that's a good choice. They do not count as light budget. You are correct. The other nice thing about them, they only count as one budget, and they don't require power. So they are like literally the perfect light, and they're not super bright, so they're not like they're a perfect accent light. So 100 of these is like using up all of your regular light budget in terms of budget for budget purposes, right? I'm just putting it there for now. Oh yeah, yeah, get them. I think I could soon as they become available. Like that's one that I think that's one of the ones that I sent out like a mass alert for. Like buy these now, buy them, go get them. I don't care. Beg, borrow, steal, don't pay rent this month. Like those are like Fallout is more important this month for those lights. But the thing is, the bundle didn't even cost that much. I think it was under 1,000 caps for that whole bundle, and you got a lot for that. I mean, that's the only light in there, but you had a bunch of tiny decor items that you could put on shelves, right? So I'll actually go through that one. Let me go up there so you can see all the things that go into that one. Excuse me one moment.